Time's up. Hadron.
Here it comes.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Little kid ears. When I first heard that, I heard not if you stick a lump of coal up his ass in 2 weeks, you have a diamond. When I heard as a kid, I sounded like in Twix, you'd have a diamond. Like, why are there chocolate bars up his ass? As a little kid, I didn't understand. Little kid ears hear things differently.
That's not even the funniest thing you just said.
What?
When you messed up, you said "cum in his ass," and then you started over.
I did?
Yes.
I'm colored. Shut up.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Dre, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. I said it. All right. Yeah, see, now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Dermy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there.
I didn't say that.
No, you can still have it, but still identify as a woman.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores. Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Well, as you said, it's been an interesting week, and I think we have to take a moment. All right, I want everybody to join hands. If you're next to Jeremy, you don't have to touch him. It's okay. Join hands. I want you all to listen to the Lord. I want you to thank Jesus for the saving grace of delivering us from the Acolyte and from Halo this week. He reached down with his glorious touch, and he moved heaven and earth to make sure we no longer have to suffer these sins. So I want you to say, praise Jesus, because the Acolyte is filled with the demons that are reaching deep down inside and telling you, use that lightsaber as a penis. Realize that you can abuse your loved one and she will still love you. And realize that with Halo, you can enjoy that man ass. And when that man ass is there, when those cheeks are in your face, you can understand that his helmet is off and it's okay. So praise Jesus for leaving us these sins. Amen.
So where's Melanie back when we need her?
Oh, wait.
You're
a blasphemous
Reverend
Rabbi
I
Adam.
think there's a bit of blasphemy here because Jewish Jesus.
I think Reverend Rabbi Adam jumped the book that his people were starting with and went to the other book.
What the hell was that?
I regret nothing. Watching Dre's reaction during that was perfect. Hey, it was my bit, and I it was off the cuff, and I just went with it. Hey, everybody, welcome to the round table where my preacher character, thanks to Duke Devil Bradley Burnett, actually has a name now. He is Reverend Rabbi Adam, so that character now has a name. I've done that character before. We all know that. I've done the preacher, but now he has a real name. Welcome to the round table where we've got a show for you today. And before we get going, I want to say, yes, everybody, we know the breaking political news out there. We are aware of it. It's going to be chaos. We look forward to the entertainment of the next month until the DNC. But you guys are free to talk about it in the chat. You can have some fun with it. We will not cover it because it's not what we talk about here, but we are recognizing that it just happened and it is the current news and it will suck up a lot of the oxygen. In fact, all the oxygen for the rest of the day. But you guys have fun with it. But we have a show for you. We have a show for you. We've got the failure, the finale failure that is the Acolyte. It was a god awful mess. I've talked about it too many times this week. We'll talk about it one more time because I know Jed and Dre and Dragon Lady didn't bother to waste their time with it. So I have to let them know how bad it was. Then we will definitely talk about how Leslye Headland is a complete and total idiot again on an interview with Maggie Lovett from Collider, revealing all kinds of fabulous stuff. Where, as I said in my Reverend Rabbi Adam preach there, she considers lightsabers to be phallic symbols. Yeah. But that's also going to lead us into discussion of the fact that there is something that has come out of the Acolyte that has been present in Disney Star Wars since the sequel trilogy. The idea that abuse and dysfunction is romance. And that there are people there who really, really love that idea. And now we've got articles and Twitter posts that are just basically sticky and disgusting for it. It's really nasty. We're gonna that, and then we're gonna have a conversation leading out of all that. It's very heavy Disney Star Wars stuff today, guys, because that's what's happening in outside of politics. Then you gotta understand. I'm gonna ask this question. We had the expanded universe, real Star Wars lore for 30 years. 30 years. Yet suddenly, when 2012 sale happened, suddenly Disney stands said, oh, we rejected all of that, but now we're going to accept everything Disney's handing us. So I'm going to ask that question. Why? We'll get into that later. And when we're done with all that, we're going to talk about how we're getting ready for Deadpool Wolverine next week. It's that final trailer dropped. We'll check out that final trailer, the serious trailer, and we're going to say, we're on the record on this panel saying we haven't been quite convinced it's going to break $1 billion. But does this trailer push that over the edge? Does it move it closer? Does it inch it closer? We're going to talk about it because we're all here. We're all going to see it. Well, maybe not Dragon Lady. I think you guys might get it a week later or something like that. But we're all going to see it because it's going to be news. You can't ignore the significance of Deadpool Wolverine. And I also personally don't want to be left out of the conversation. It's that simple. I don't want to be left out of the conversation. I want to be able to give you my 2 cents. I may even do a review. We'll see. And we're going to touch a couple of things. Other than that, though, hi, Jed. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about this news, even though I don't watch Disney Stars. It is always fun to chronicle their further demise. And let's pray someday we get some good stars. But in the meantime, we're going to have fun making fun of it. So it's always great to be here, Adam.
Definitely. Hi, Dre. You feeling good after the intro?
That was funny. And Adam, I can't believe you brought back the Reverend without me being present. How dare you?
Well, listen, it's Ballbusters. I got a shock and awe when I'm on there. It's the only thing that keeps me sane.
Yeah, but I've had a good week. It's been interesting in our country, of course, but outside of that, I've had a good week. Halo's dead. Like it's a lot of good is happening this week. A lot of good. No more Acolyte. This is a glorious day. It's a glorious day. All this stuff is dead. I can go back and just watch good content for a while with nothing new coming out except for Deadpool, which I'm looking forward to. So this is good. This is good.
And for the record, I know Cobra Kai's out. Nobody talked to me about
Really?
it. Cobra Kai dropped on Friday.
I did not hear this.
I didn't know.
I didn't even see a trend.
It's out. Nobody talked to me about it. I'm personally putting it on the shelf and waiting till it's all done because I'm not just gonna watch 5 episodes and then seethe for 3 months until they drop another 5 episodes. And then
they're doing that half and half drop thing.
It's gonna be they're gonna drop the second half around Thanksgiving, I think, and then they're taking another 2-3 months before they drop the final movie type episode to conclude it all. It's really weird.
What are they doing?
I don't know. Just weekly it, goddammit.
It's not complicated.
Just weekly it. So I can make content. Because listen, I tried making content on Cobra Kai. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. So I'm gonna sit on it. All I ask is don't spoil me. Don't spoil. Dermy tried to. It's like, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to start talking about it. No, shut up, Dermy. Shut up. So
I'm like 3 seasons behind, so there's so
Yeah.
much you could spoil for me.
So I'm putting it on the shelf. I'm going to watch it. I do want to, but as I said, I'm going to wait till it's all done. So it's like, I'm not watching it till next year at this point. That way. Dragon Lady, hi.
Hello. Hope everyone's had a decent week outside everything else that's been going on. Not been doing much. Been binging City Hunter, which I have been very much enjoying. That's about it, really.
I just forgot I have to load one more tab, but so we'll start this out there. So hail and hi to the chat. How you guys doing? We're glad to have you guys here on what is now definitely a busy Sunday afternoon. Hail the goddess and Algrim the strong. My mods here to keep the peace. Let me know when I have boomered it too hard. Hail Third Eye 47. Welcome back. How you doing? Going down the list, seeing who you guys are talking to. Hey, Static. I know Static's very happy. He's got content for his political shows now for the rest of the week. He is very happy. Hail Masquerade. How are you? Hail to you, Ruben X. Hello, Hammy. How you doing? Good young man. Hail Huzzah son of Joxer. Hail Frank Blaskowitz. Dune influence. I don't know what you're talking about Dune influence. That was pure Reverend Rabbi Preacher Adam right there. There's no Dune influence there. Good afternoon to you, Kale. How are you? And anybody else watching and not chatting, we are happy to have you here with us this afternoon. Hit the like button, subscribe to everybody's channels, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start. Here's the warm-up first. So we got a warm-up right here. Jen already knows about this. I'm very pleased to know that after one abysmal season and one more abysmal season on the way, that even Disney knows that they can't sink any more money into Doctor Who.
Surprise.
The numbers don't matter, Adam. Why are we even talking about this? It's only the 28-day numbers that matter. Oh, wait, those were abysmal too. Just came out. But they just don't matter. The year numbers matter. Well, we'll find out next year if they're good enough to warrant a renewal.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and we're going to talk about ratings today when it comes to the Acolyte. Ratings matter. Even the cockamamie crazy metrics that they've come up with for streaming to try and tell us whether or not streaming works, it matters because it says whether or not there's engagement. And when I say engagement, I don't mean the fake social media engagement they try to sell to investors to tell them that this is working. I mean the actual engagement that means people are going to buy your merch. People are going to buy your media when it comes out. People are going to subscribe to your streaming service. There is no shadow of a doubt that Disney Star Wars is. Disney Plus. Excuse me. Disney Plus is a failure as a streaming service. I mean, there are only 2.5 successful streaming services. Netflix is still the winner, even though Netflix is Netflix, and you quickly exhaust whatever you're watching on it once you're done watching stuff because they literally have nothing. They are successful because they still make money. Very simple. Amazon, because Amazon has bottomless pockets and they will just keep going, even when they have failure. And but when they have successes, they just don't market their successes. They just market their failures, which is a very strange thing. And then the other half is HBO Max, because HBO Max arguably has some of the best current day television on it.
It's breaking even at this point, which puts it in the success category. It has a good future ahead of it.
Yeah. And is Warner Discovery is bloodbathing their company right now, firing people left and right. HBO Max is suffering the least amount of casualties on that end. So it's the half a success because they also have a bright future if they can nail down the Harry Potter show. If they nail that down, that puts them that's forever content.
Yeah.
People, if they put out 7 seasons of close to good Harry Potter television, that's evergreen content for them. People will watch that forever on HBO Max. So half. But everybody else, Paramount Plus, they just got sold.
Again?
Well, did it? That other group bought them a week ago. It was official, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
that
God.
conglomerate
Okay.
group bought them. They bought them. So Paramount is owned. CBS Paramount is owned by somebody else now.
They're going to rename it again. CBS
Who
All
knows?
Access, Paramount Plus.
But they have. That's a complete failure. And as we're going to talk about in a minute, Halo the series was the bright shining evidence of how not to do genre television. Then what we got? We got Apple TV. Apple TV is this outlier. Nobody cares about it. Nobody pays attention to it. But like Amazon, Apple has bottomless pockets. So they'll just keep doing it as a vanity thing. But nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. And then you got Disney Plus. You got Peacock. You got the other hangers-ons. They're failures. Complete and utter failures. So for Disney now to say, hey, guess what? Hey, listen. Russell, we love it that you jam-packed this thing full of all the right agenda check boxes. We love it. We love that you got a man kiss on screen. It was great. But we're considering not giving you any more money because we don't have money. Because we're borrowing, and stealing from everything we get our hands on to keep Disney Star Wars going. And the MCU, well, we ain't going to get money for that. We'll get to the MCU later. So, go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I just think the biggest problem why these fans think that these numbers don't matter and why Disney pretends to have the same mindset of these stands is they don't understand how money works. For the most part, these stands are far left socialist types. They don't understand capitalism, so they say numbers don't matter. And Disney pretends that that's their mindset, but behind all the layers of agenda, they still are a capitalist company because they have to be. Yes. And so these numbers are directly tied into profit. Profit equals extended showtime. It's not that complicated of a structure to follow. And viewership, engagement leads to merch sales, like you mentioned. And it just justifies its own existence by how much money it generates. These aren't complicated things. But these stands who say numbers don't matter, the companies who say that the ratings don't matter, at least on the veneer, their public-facing side, don't understand why this is necessary. Why ratings have been a thing since the beginning of television.
I mean, Jed, you brought up a great point. Merch is such an important factor. As a Doctor Who fan, clearly a Doctor Who fan who will spend your hard-earned money on very large and visible merch right behind you.
Yeah, BBC did not get any money from that.
I know. But you will spend your money on Doctor Who merch, even if it's custom made like you had for yourself right there. Or you told me you bought that off somebody else?
Yeah, I bought it off somebody else. It was just a dad who made it for his daughter when she was like 10, and when she went off to college, she couldn't take it with her. So,
but still, cool. you were a Doctor Who fan who would buy merch, and you know better than anybody that once it tanked when Dr. Karen and Jodie Whittaker came around, the merch just plummeted.
To the point where they're not manufacturing merch.
Exactly.
They're not even doing like the Disney Star Wars stuff where they put a campaign to see if they'll manufacture it. They're not even at that level. They just aren't manufacturing any merch of value.
I mean, several merch companies that would make statues and models went out of business.
Went out of business, discontinued them.
Yeah,
there's just no market for it. But like you said, there were whole companies based solely off making Doctor Who merch that would sell $500 statues easily. That would fulfill campaigns for those.
The major one called Big Chief.
I think so. They were already kind of defunct by the time I was getting into the merchandise field, but.
Yeah. So, I used to listen to other channels who cover Doctor Who talking about, I'm just going to have to soak the money I spent on that because they're not going to refund me now that they're closed. So this is what happens when you abandon your fan base for agenda. There's no money in it. And even the Big Daddy Disney ain't going to do it. But Jed, you told me yesterday that Russell T Davies is going to keep going with it, even if
here I can pull that up for you. So this was actually a interview with him from 3 months ago. So I think he saw the writing on the wall well before this news was coming out. These rumors, these leaks, and the big Disney leak that happened recently, and even Disney's own reports that they're not really looking forward to renewing it for a 3rd season. And he said some interesting things in this, but I think there's a conversation to be had whether or not he's being honest. Of course, there is that conversation to be had, but the important stuff is down here. He says, if Disney collapsed tomorrow and we had to go back to making Doctor Who on a normal BBC budget, you know what? We'd rally round and make it, and suddenly stories would just become smaller, self-contained stories. So he has thought about this, and he does believe there is a route forward for that. I don't know if that's true. And in this article, he's talking about the BBC going away as well. So it's not even just the BBC and Disney. It's both of them going away and no longer funding Doctor Who. The argument can be made is his production company, which has the rights currently, Bad Wolf Productions, is owned by Sony. So Sony could pick up the slack and start paying for it.
That's a possibility.
It is a possibility, but with it being this bad, would Sony want to do it? So it's still a matter of, is this true? Could it be possible? But he at least has the intentions to try. So just because Disney's pulling out, if that is true, I don't take that as carte blanche fact that Doctor Who's going to get canceled. Unfortunately, there might be some legal battles about where those first 2 seasons go. Maybe he'll have to start with a new Doctor on a new streaming service or something. There would be a lot of issues with that transition if Disney pulled out. That might not be worth the hassle. But I wouldn't tell people get too optimistic about this report from Disney. There are still caveats.
Yeah, because we talked about it during our coverage during the Who Cares reviews period. There's a lot of slices of this pie. A lot of people have ownership of Doctor Who. And to the point where, like you said, Sony would be a possibility. Sony has their own financial issues where they're not making money on their entertainment side. I mean, they're just about, I think, breaking even when it comes to their video game department with the PS5. And but even now they're not doing exclusives anymore. They're moving away from that. At the same time, their movie side is dog shit. I mean, we forget there are still a couple of Sony Spider-Verse movies coming out this year. Are we ready for Kraven? Are we ready for Venom 3?
Absolutely no one wants to see any of that hogwash.
Yeah, exactly.
No, people just want the clip of the Venom horse. That is the only thing people talk about.
Yeah,
for the
pretty
future.
much.
The Spider-Verse.
So, I mean, I agree with you, Jen. This isn't the end of Doctor Who that we're gonna say, hey, yes, it's done, it's over, we won, we shat on.
I wish it was
parade.
though. I do want to put that out there. I want this to be done.
Well, listen, we're doing a happy dance then. We're dressing Dermy up in a costume so he can parade around and celebrate it in a very strange way. I'm just trying to make a bad Dermy joke. Go with me here. But we want that. But honestly, we're not going to get that for another year. That kind of news is not going to happen for at least a year and a half because we got to get
even
through.
If Disney is going to cancel it, they're not dumb enough to pull the legs out of their own show before season
with a
2
season to go.
Yeah, they've already paid for it. It's off to the races. They're not going to hamstring themselves this out.
I mean, we'll get all kinds of strange marketing next year after the Christmas special for Shooty season 2, and then we'll see what happens after the next Christmas special. Then
I do have some theories about this. If this news at Disney is as bad as it seems to be reported, they're still apparently working on the Christmas special for next year, and this news would have been going on at Disney during season coming out, so this isn't anything new. They could retool the ending of the Christmas special of 2025 to make it a finale.
We'll have to wait and see.
Make it to save face, act like, oh yeah, we went out on our own terms. It was never going to be a season 3. This is what I always wanted to do. Just the classic lie. This was always the plan. I think they could try something like that.
We have theorized that we wouldn't put it past RTD to say I brought it in, so I'll take it out. We theorized on that in his mind he has the right to do it. So we'll see. So. We just wanted to bring that to your attention, everybody, since we do like to cover some Doctor Who news on this show. And, it's time will tell. We were right either way. I mean, this leads us into the next part of this conversation. We didn't watch Halo because we liked it. or at least I watched it to make fun of it, and I roasted it for 2 seasons. I made videos, all kinds of stuff to show you how bad it was. I never want to hear again that hate watching helps something. Because Dre, if we hate watch Doctor Who, if we hate watch Halo, shouldn't that have helped it?
Numerically, yes. But here's the kicker. Like the people that are always screaming, I understand why people have the additive of don't hate watch because that will contribute to the numbers. That's fine. I understand where it's coming from. Here's the problem. The only people that are watching are the hate watchers that are just sitting there reporting to the normal everyday folks to not watch it. How many? It's been. I want to limit say it's been a good solid decade almost that the normie watchers of nerd content wait patiently for those of us that are veterans to tell them to watch it.
Yep.
It's been a thing for like a decade. It's not a new phenomenon. People aren't jumping on to Halo if you weren't in to wait for it. Halo. It's how it works. So those people that were into Halo, like myself and countless others that played the game for the last 20 years, are like, hey, don't watch this hogwash, and then they don't. It's simple.
It's a simple equation. And not to mention, he said the only people who hate watching this are reviewers, and some of us aren't actually watching it on the services providing it. So
I think every single one of us can say any show that we've hate watched, like Doctor Who in my case for the recent season, Halo for you, and plenty of other things with you with Disney Stars. We wouldn't be watching if we didn't have this platform. So it does serve a purpose. We're not hate watching just to hate watch.
And they say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Why are you doing this? And one, I'm doing it because it's my job. I'm a reviewer. I choose, and I review things I know. I happen to know Doctor Who. I happen to at least be a dangerous casual with Halo that I can talk about it with some level of knowledge and understanding, having played some of the games, not all of them, so just a couple of them. But it wouldn't really have mattered because I know the history. I know the lore. At the same time, all that would have mattered is knowing the first game for the first season because that's all it should have been. And when you ended this season 2, they're first sort of getting to the area of the first game, but in a way that made no sense. I mean, they went through the whole fall of Reach last season. Now, I've heard the argument made, well, Adam, it might have been a good idea to start with the fall of Reach. Maybe, but if you wanted a home run, it should have just been the Master Chief and Cortana against the world.
Yep.
6 to 8 episodes, the first game. Very simple.
Just do that.
All you need is one person inside the suit without taking their helmet off. You need and you don't even need CGI for Cortana in the first game because she's just a voice in the head. So you just need 2 people and then extras in mocap suits for Covenant and Flood.
They got to bring back the voice actor from the game.
Yeah, and a voice for Guilty Spark. That's all you would have needed for a season 1. Think how much money you save on that alone.
It's a good point.
And a couple other extras, that would be involved with the story proper from members of Officer Corps, from the Pillar of Autumn, stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you needed. And I would have been locked in and going, yeah. But
just do the game.
Do the game.
Not complicated.
It's not.
No, it isn't.
The game's 20 years old. Just take the disc, pop it in, and take notes. Like,
and then
Jesus Christ.
And then do Halo 2, and then do Halo 3, and then a lot of people will say, stop right there.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, stop right there.
I'll agree.
End it and be good. Be happy.
I'll agree with that.
Be done.
I don't know the timeline very well. Where does Reach fall in? Because I know a lot of people love Reach.
Yeah, Reach is a prequel to Halo 1.
Okay, so it would be like a spin-off show. It would be
the fall of Reach.
Okay. Yeah. Now it's before Master Chief is the main protagonist. You get 4 of the original Spartans, and they all die off, whatever. But then they go to it's 1, 2, and 3, and then we stop. As far as I'm concerned,
that's what a lot of people say.
We stop right there.
Because basically, if you guys want to get a good shot of Reach right now, you can go to Horny Alf's channel every couple of weeks. Horny Alf, Dermy, and a couple other guys. Static is there. I think Static is there too. They're playing Reach. on Alf's gaming streams on Sundays. So like every couple of weeks, every Friday. Sorry, every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern before Ballbusters. If you want to watch some people play Reach, go to Horny Alf. He's playing it. They're having a good time there. They're murking each other all over the place. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, but yeah, that Fridays. Yeah, thank you, Static. Yeah, Fridays. It's Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Static is there, Alpha's there, Dermy's there, and they have a rotating people for the other spots. But it would have been a very simple equation. Pick up the story you already have that people love and drop it in place. It's the same thing Disney should have done with Star Wars when they bought it. You had 30 years of content. You didn't have to rewrite anything. Just to lift it, adapt it, and walk away and watch the money come in. But no, they don't understand. Please, your actual fan base, don't chase the check boxes because they're not real fans. They're stands. They're tourists. They don't give a shit. They just want you to feed their degeneracy, and we're going to get to that very soon. It boggles my mind. That you could put out 2 seasons of something called Halo. And we remember when they got into it, they said, "Oh, it's the silver timeline."
Oh God,
it's
the same thing that same company did with the Star Trek reboot series, and it sounds like they're going to do it again with another prequel.
There were bad reboot apostles within this.
Mm-hmm. And that just makes so much sense. It's laziness. That is at the end of the day what this whole it's a new timeline, so we can rehash it, but just a little bit different. And you can swallow it. That's the strategy.
Yeah. So it's a disaster, and it's over. They say they're shopping it around. No one's gonna buy Halo Season 3 because nobody watched it. Hell, my second round, I got more traction on Season 1 than I did on Season 2 when I covered it. But I covered it because I had to follow up. I had to take it all the way to the finish line, and we got there. It's done. It's over. It failed. And it didn't succeed because I covered it. It didn't succeed because other people. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. I think I just bobbled that, but you understand what I'm saying. Hate watching had nothing to do with it.
A lot of these shows get renewed for a second season before they even start, or it's still in the hey, can it be good phase. There's still experimentation to a studio's mindset when renewing after a first season. So it's no surprise that a lot of these things are getting a second season. But after that, they're getting canceled like this and a few other shows that we know of. Willow didn't even make it to this point. So people saying that Halo Season 2 exists because of people like you, Adam, who reviewed it is just laughable. And the lack of Season 3 kind of proves that.
The ink was still drying when Season 1 was going for Season 2. They had that in going. And the only company that will literally instantly renew is Amazon. Because they renewed Wheel of Time for another season before each season comes out, failing to understand that is one of the worst rated shows. Nobody cares about Wheel of Time, Waste of Time, Wheel of Prime. Nobody does. Rings of Power. They everybody say, "Oh my God, you're watching it. You're only giving it fuel." It was originally contracted for 5 seasons.
Yeah. So we're not making a difference in that.
No, we're not. We're in fact we're torturing ourselves for your entertainment in 4 weeks when Mortal Country returns on August 31st. We're 3 episodes, Jed. 3 episodes.
My soul is not ready for this.
It took us.
What did I do in a previous life?
It took us 4 hours to do when they did the 3-episode drop. We did 4 hours on that very first stream.
That was one of the shorter ones too. We did like a 6-hour one at one point.
Maybe that was a 6-hour one. I don't know. All I know is that our good friend Dane Bornhall from the White Clothes, he was very drunk during that stream, and it was entertaining. We'll get through it though for your entertainment. Join us Saturday, August 31st, when This Is Mortal Country will be temporarily replacing Saturday Night Drive-In because hey, listen, we had a good time. We did have a good time. It's fun roasting it. And we know you guys had a good time. In fact, hey, that was the biggest streams I had on my channel. And this time it'll be simulcast. So we'll be all over the place. Anyway, all right. So Halo's canceled. Dre, do you want to have any final thoughts on that? Because I know you were like, F it. No.
It's over. I'm just glad it's done. And I said in my review on Friday, I forgot the show was even still going. I remember watching part of the first episode and then immediately turning it off. That's as far as I got. Right when I saw the little girl run around, that was it for me. I turned it off. I literally turned it off after that because I already knew where this was going.
Oh man, they made her the key to literally everything by the end of season 2.
Of course.
I mean, Drake, they introduced the Flood outside of the Halo. The Flood was part of the Fall of Reach.
Yes, it was. That's a great arc. See, what I'm saying, just take the game and put it on the screen. Look, okay, let me be fair. If this game was not a narrative-based shooter like it was, okay, take some liberties. Like if it was like if they made a Call of Duty movie or something.
Yeah.
You know, you can take some liberties and make up whatever story you want. This is a narrative-based game that's not based in any form of reality, that has its own lore and its own world built into it. Take the disc and just do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard.
No, it is not.
It's not hard at all.
It is not.
How can you drop the ball so hard that your first order of business is to take the helmet off of Master Chief?
Because they hate the game and they hate the actual audience that loves the game.
All you had to do was do nothing. If you do nothing, you would have succeeded.
But here's my point, though, just to put a cap on this and we'll move on. This is the template of how not to do a video game adaptation for a show. It's not how you do it. And they haven't learned it. Even though the Horizon Zero Dawn show has been canceled at Netflix. That's done. That ain't happening.
That was in production?
Yes. Yep. Yes, that was in production. They canceled it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, my.
Yeah, they canceled that. But they aren't stopping because, remember, Netflix is still going to go with Tomb Raider show helmed by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh.
Are you ready for my patriarchy bad? Because that's what it's going to be. Because that's all that Phoebe Waller-Bridge knows how to do. That's all she knows how to do. So they're still going to do that. We've still got, Jed, I know you're waiting for it, God of War on Amazon, helmed by the guy who does Wheel of Time, Waste of Prime. I said that wrong. I'm going to keep going. Good old. See, I botched my own joke. Rafe Poo Juggins. Thank you. I botched during my own joke. Rafe Poo Juggins. He's in charge of it, and he is skipping over the Greece saga to go right to the Norse saga.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Then how do you get the God of War? You know what?
No. Don't think, just consume.
Yeah, you need to know the games to understand what's going on. I do love all the games, more so the Norse ones. I think the Norse ones are better, but the Greek ones are essential to understanding his story and his art. The man he is in the Norse games doesn't have half the amount of impact it does if you don't see where he started, because that is a beautiful arc from rage-filled youth to wise old man.
When you're playing God of War 2018 and Kratos goes solo to go to Helheim, and he goes and gets the Blades of Chaos. If you don't know where that comes from, I mean, when I was playing it, I went in blind, not knowing he was going to do it. I'm thinking, oh, what's he doing? I realized, oh shit, he's breaking. I was so happy. I believe I streamed it. I believe we were streaming it. You could see my reaction. I was nerded out. I'm like, yes, this means something. But if you don't have the entire Greece saga, it means nothing if he breaks out the Blades of Chaos. Only gamer nerds are going, ugh. But then again, it's Rafe Judkins. They're going to make Kratos gay or something because they tried real hard. No, I'm serious. During the whole Norse games, there is a contingent of people out there trying to push that Kratos is a alphabet community flag wielder.
How?
Don't ask me.
All that dude does is crush Poontang. What are we talking about right
now?
There were mini games. Two kids.
Yeah.
And there are mini games in the other games.
Button mashing,
where he is literally mashing us. So it's I don't know where it's this weirdo desperation.
It's deep
to have their gay ships in everything, or pretending that characters who are either very heterosexual or, in some cases, like just for an example from One Piece, some characters are very, very female, trying to say, oh, these are trans characters. No, they're not. And the creators even come out and say these characters are not what you're saying they are. So it's outrageously stupid
Mm.
what they're going to do with God of War. So no one's learned their lesson. Halo is a complete failure, but they haven't learned any lessons. Just stop trying to adapt video games. We live in the era where every video game is a cinematic experience now.
True.
It's already done.
That's
and
true.
it's done better in the actual game.
Yeah, you're going to weaken the experience if you try to make it a TV show. I talk about this a lot. I think games are the premier medium right now for the most engaging storytelling.
Mhm.
Of course, there are things that don't make sense to be games or whatnot, and you still want your action-packed, zero story games. There still needs to be variety, but the opportunity for new and inventive storytelling is in games right now, not in movies, not in TV.
Yeah.
That is where you can make some of the most engaging, interactive stories, more so than we've ever seen before. And there's different ways to do it, like Hellblade. I think the first Hellblade is phenomenal. That's kind of light on the action. It's more immersive. But God of War is a great example of being better than it would be as a movie. You lose so much of being inside the character's head. Shouldn't be adapted.
No, it should not. And they kind of put excuse me, that story has, like I said, they have so much depth to it. They have so much to build on, so much to work with. You're limiting yourself when you're trying to fit it into 8 episodes in 8 45 to 1 hour minute episodes, especially if you have shit writers like Rafe Judkins in charge, who has no idea what he's doing. And actively, all you got to do is go look at My Wheel of Time coverage. Anybody who's covered it, he doesn't care about lore or source material. He feels like it's his job to do it better and to inject it that makes certain people angry. And when I say certain people, actual fans. Anyway, so Halo's done. They haven't learned their lesson. We don't need any more video game adaptations. It's over, and I feel justified in everything I did to help it get destroyed. In some tiny percentage point, I did my part to sink that show, and thank you to all of you who supported me during that. Anyway, all right, so here's something else that will also not learn this lesson: Disney Star Wars. Disney Star Wars will not learn the lesson. They will just keep going and going and going, because if they actually took a moment to read the actual room, not just listen to the circle jerk on X Twitter, they would know that it's been rejected. The ratings are there. Before we even get into it, I want to bring this up. And hail to everybody who's been coming in during the last segment. I see you. Welcome, one and all. We're happy to have you here, as always. We hope you guys are having a good Sunday afternoon and that everything is going your way, just like it's going our way, with the fact that nobody cares about the Acolyte. Now, we talked about the ratings last week, how it barely got in there. We're at Hollywood Reporter to start this part because Nielsen came out with 2 ratings dumps this week. So one blocked out the other one. So I didn't get a chance to get any sort of screen caps. But thankfully, Hollywood Reporter would talk about other shit, did list the overall and original streaming numbers.
I hate that Bridgerton is watched by that many people.
It's
a disgrace.
It hurts. I know.
Agreed.
So our overalls, as we expect, not there. Doesn't crack it, because look at the numbers you have to bring in to get into the top 10 overalls. But now it does appear right here. There it is, 370 million. Now I believe, and I did check. I went back and looked. Remember last week I said it looked like they adjusted the numbers down? They had. When I made my video at the start of the week of the Nielsen's, it was 488 million minutes viewed. They did drop it to 360 when we talked about it last week on Roundtable. So they had adjusted it down. So here it is, essentially the same thing. 370 million minutes watched, bottom 5. That's for episode 3. That's the flashback episode. All right. That's the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many fingers. Okay. That is the episode that people stuck around for. What do you think happened the following week, guys? What do you think happened? Think anybody
a colossal drop off that is of a biblical proportions.
Oh, here we are. The streaming overalls. Yeah, not on the overalls. And when you go to original for July 17th to 23rd, that's episode 4. The big bestest lightsaber duels stints. The prequel trilogy doesn't even make it on the originals, just as we predicted it eventually would. That means it had under 298 million minutes viewed.
Oh
for
my
episode
sweet
4.
Christ!
So everybody saw the power of one, the power of two, the power of many fingers all over your crotch. It was they dipped out. They dipped out. They were done.
I've never even heard of most of these.
Me neither. Neither have I. I mean, this is where you are. And now it did still show up on Samba too. I have to admit, Samba still showed up, but then again, Samba had shows on this that are beating Acolyte under Acolyte on Samba.
Yeah,
But
Samba's it's kind of its own thing.
It's
what
got
did
its
it get
own
in
thing.
Samba?
What
was the number odds?
For episode 3 and episode 4, around 6 or 7. It stayed in the bottom 5. It did not crack over.
You just had the top 10. It didn't give you like
it
1
didn't give you numbers.
million.
Yeah, it just had the numbers. It was on their Twitter page, and
then that's low. If they're not even reporting the numbers, those are low numbers.
They didn't report the numbers. They did not. So it's failing. This is episode 4. People checked out after the flashback of many. They checked out, and if they didn't come back for the tease of the biggest, bestest lightsaber duel ever. Or I'm sorry. Oh no, actually no. I'm sorry. Episode 5 is the biggest, bestest lightsaber duel ever. Episode 4 is making their way to the Spank Shack. I'm sorry. See, it's all jumbled in my head. You got to understand, it's all garbage.
The Spank Shack.
I call it Kelnock a Spank Shack because he's all by himself in there.
I thought that's what you said. I was like, wait a minute. He just said...
He's all by himself. What do you think he's going to do all the time? I mean,
I heard Shaft. Spank Shaft.
Oh, Shack. No, Shack.
Yo, like Shack, like a house.
No. I got it now, but the first time I was like,
well, there was an internet story that happened a couple years ago where they found this dude. I think he was in Australia. They found him dead. They found him dead in his porn Spank Shack. When they open it up, and it's just like wall-to-wall porn.
Oh,
and he was dead.
Oh no!
So when I saw Kelnaka has a shack in the middle of nowhere all by himself, of course I was going to call it a Spank Shack in my review.
That's funny.
I had to. So that was episode 4. So nobody came back, and so we'll find out because they clearly, I just put it here, they haven't updated it yet. We'll find out probably this week if everybody came back for the biggest, bestest lightsaber duels in the world.
No.
And no. And then after that, for the beginning of abuse and dysfunctional romance. And then for another flashback. And then, listen, I believe there's a chance, because it's how finales work, people might have come back for the finale just to watch the train wreck hit its target.
Sure, I think we will come back just to see the end, but will that crack any real numbers? I strongly doubt.
We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if it fights its way back into the bottom 5 for the finale. I wouldn't be surprised. But here we are. This was episode 4, halfway through, and everybody had checked out after the flashback episode. So, ever since this right here, we covered it real time during those weekends. Leslye Headland and everybody else went out on damage control. We've watched the interviews. We've read we've watched the interviews for YouTube, like with Rachel Leishman. We've read articles with Maggie Lovett from Collider. We're back with her today, where it's just trying to defend and fill in plot holes. Because there are so many things go on. I'm going to give you a brief rundown, boys, now, of what went down in the finale. Essentially this. Everybody's going to arrive magically at the same time on a single planet, even though they're scattered across the galaxy. Fast travel, faster than ever. During one point, you've got Master Squid Game Saul chasing down May, who... Now, all right, you know what? Hang on. Let me bring this up, because, Dre, I know you will appreciate this. How ridiculous. I just have to bring this up because you need to see this. How ridiculous this looked when May is trying to escape Saul. Okay. And let me see if I can get it just in the right. Let me get it just in the right spot here. Here we go, right here. I'm going to bring it. No audio, just the visual. So you can see how awkward this looks. And I'm not even going to preface now. What is this? Who thought this was good? Oh, God damn it. There we go. Putting that helmet on. Who thought putting that helmet on was such a good idea?
Wait.
Watch your here. I'm gonna slow it down. Let's look. Who thought that was a good look? putting that helmet on. Let me go back a little bit, and I'll slow it down so you can see her putting it on. Let me play back. Let's slow it down. Come on. Okay, man. So now watch her put the helmet on. Did I miss it? I think I missed it. No, here it is. Yeah. Watch her put that helmet on. Come on, go. Work. Technical difficulty.
Very slow.
And it died.
Yeah, it doesn't fit her head.
What are we doing?
It doesn't fit her dreads.
What is going on?
And then she's going to be wearing it for the rest of these sequences. I mean, look at this.
Her dreads just sticking out. Can you imagine what would have happened if she had to put the visor down?
I know. It's laughable, but this is the quality of this show. Okay? Somebody thought this worked, and they had her put that on there. So,
I just want to point out, I was in the military, and as much as I hated doing it, they did have good reasons to ask us to have military haircuts, to have women when they had longer hair, exclusively pretty much in ponytails or buns, because especially when you were in combat deployment, you had to wear helmets, not like these exactly, but still, you had to wear helmets, you had to wear gas masks, and it's just practical to make those sorts of restrictions on people who have to regularly do this. But it's probably more racist because there's this whole thing about
everything's
hair.
racist. Apparently, it's racist to be critical of her acting now.
Well, everything is racist. Yeah. So when everything is racist, that means nothing is.
Nothing is at this point. No.
It's so, just who. Okay, this is why I don't want to bam on the costume designers. I'm sure they worked hard.
No, they didn't.
They had to do something. I'm pretty sure they got paid about 17 cents each, and the rest of the money got laundered into some type of scheme, because they did the best they could with the nickels that they rubbed together to try to put this thing together.
Yeah,
but come on, did they not measure her head?
Also, why can't you do what every other show in existence has ever done? Cut away, and then have the helmet on.
Yeah,
I mean, and then. Whenever you have female pilots or helmets or anything in any show, genre or realistic, they have the helmet on, and then they cut away, and then as they're taking the helmets off, then you see all the hair come out.
Yeah.
So it's been a tried and true practice. You just cut away. You don't see them putting the helmet on, and then going.
Okay. And she's trying to escape, right? She's in a rush.
All right. Here's she's escaping. So she's escaping in an escape ship. It's not even escape pod. It's escape ship. So what's happening though? She's running away, and Saul's chasing her down through the rings of a moon.
I have one question.
Okay.
Does Saul have a helmet on too?
No, because he's in the big ship.
Then all of this is garbage to me. Next.
But it's a fighter, Dre.
It's over.
All right. Well, the next part is this though. So Saul almost has her. He almost has her. And what do you think happens? Remember, I talked to you guys about Basil, the tiny little rodent who
that
smells
everyone's
his way
in love
people?
With.
That is, another attempted Baby Yoda, Grogu.
Isn't that rodent like special needs or something?
Nobody can understand him except the guy who's dead. Yeah, he's a little downsy. So 2 weeks ago, remember when I told you he figured out that May wasn't OSHA and he humped her leg when he attacked her?
Yeah,
when they had a little fight. Well, for some reason,
I did not see that.
Well, for some reason, right now, even though he knows it's not OSHA, Saul's about to capture her, and then he literally rips out a bunch of circuitry and makes the ship stall out so that she can get away. No character explanation for this, never explained. And in this article right here, in this very article I'm bringing up now, where Leslye Headland goes into damage control, she will say, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We'll get to that. So rest of the episode is basically everybody converging on the planet where all the lesbian space witches lived in their giant vagina-shaped mountain. And it's all about reinforcing that the Jedi are bad. And that OSHA and Darth Zipperface have all the right in the world to behave as they're doing because they've had everything taken away from them. That the Jedi killed her mother and May's mother, and that she has a right to now murder the Jedi Master Squid Game. And It's just
These
retarded.
people can't write, man.
No, they can't. It's
this mess is
ridiculous.
offensive.
I don't want to spend too much time going over it. I'm just setting the groundwork so you guys understand what we're going to talk about now here in this interview. And basically, OSHA goes dark side in 2 seconds. 2 seconds, boom. It's happened in all the span of a couple hours. Then, when all is said and done, Master Leslye Headland's wife arrives. Through the force, she knows that everything what's happened. She knows the truth about the entire story, the cover-up and everything. Decides to do another cover-up. She is now the origin of the cover-up to hide all these events.
So she's a bad guy.
She's a bad guy. She's a bad guy. And
does the show portray her as a bad guy?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because she's lying to everybody. Because now there's a senator in the Republic who wants to audit the Jedi and bring them over under government heel. And he calls them crazy cult. You guys can't control your power. You can't control your emotions. What'll happen when one of you, when he finally cracks and destroys you all? Referencing Anakin. They're very smart with the way they do this. And she says, no, we won't do this. But when they do now have this cover up, we have this scene that happens, she lays it all at Saul's feet, says he was a very disturbed rogue Jedi, a rogue disturbed man. And after laying it all at his feet, and they present Saul in this entire series as a bad Jedi. They purposefully paint him as an out-of-control Jedi with too much attachments. What do you think she does? What do you think the final frame of the episode is, guys? I mean, you might know already. You don't know. What do you think it is?
Yeah, that's when she goes to Yoda, right?
Yep.
That's the last joint.
Yeah, that was the last one.
She goes, Master, I need to tell you something. So now it is heavily implied that Yoda knows everything that went down, that there might be possible Sith out there.
So I've actually seen a lot of people on the stands, depending on Twitter, that, oh, you just had to watch the episode. See, Kianamundu didn't actually know about the cover-up. It wasn't actually true. And then you're telling me they made it even worse that Yoda knew? Not just a member of the council that was a throwaway character. Yoda himself knew.
So, I mean,
they made it so much worse by waiting.
Wait, this is it? Wait, wrong. I got too many tabs here. Hang on.
So the options are this. One, Yoda is complicit to a cover-up and murder, or he's retarded.
Yeah.
These are the two options.
And this is, as Jed said, this is the response we get from that, including the Darth Plagueis stuff. We can get into that if you guys want, but they butchered Darth Plagueis. They basically will say that everything he's done was because lesbian witches did it first.
Okay, so I saw the clip of Darth Plagueis in his jerk-off cave, and he just kind of comes out to see.
It's kind of creeps out. Just kind of peeks out. Hi, you guys are leaving, and there's multiple implications there. Here's how I break it down. There's two things that could be happening with this. One, he is Darth Zipperface's master, which makes no sense if the apprentice is going to get his own secret apprentice. Why are you bringing her back to where your master is? Because no master wants to know that the apprentice is getting a secret apprentice, because that means he's getting ready to try and gank you.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense. But then here's my horrible, horrible possibility. And I want to see your faces break when I say this. What if, when you see him here, he's not even a Sith Lord at this point? He's just some creeper in a cave who's living on the planet. And now that Darth Zipperface and OSHA come back to have their very weird dysfunctional romance, he then becomes eventually OSHA's apprentice, because she's going to have to gank Darth Zipperface. That's how it works. So that means there's a possibility that Darth Plagueis becomes the apprentice to OSHA before becoming the master to Palpatine, which means everything he does is because of lesbian witches who lived in a vagina-shaped mountain.
I mean, they've already kind of established that he knows how to manipulate the midichlorians to create life or whatever because of the lesbian space witches. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is the origin of Plagueis' entire Sith abilities.
But now, if memory serves me correct, now I could be wrong, and Adam, please correct me if I'm incorrect.
Yeah.
In the Plagueis book.
No, I haven't actually read the Plagueis book.
Okay. All right, so I'll just lay down what I remembered. I've read that book in 20 years.
Okay.
In the Plagueis book, Darth Plagueis was a member of the banking clan race, if memory serves me correct, and he was hiding in plain sight. That was his whole thing. Like, he was a prominent individual. He had billions and trillions of dollars, and he was manipulating things behind the scenes in
they
which
find
he
this
then
planet where the cortosis is.
Yes. And then he then takes good old Creamy Sheev under his wing because he knows that he's going to be someone of political power, and then starts putting him in play to do. Thank you, Third Eye. Thank you so much, and puts him in political play. So the whole idea is that he was hiding in plain sight, not that he was sitting there in his jerk off cave. Like he was an actual member of society that was prominent.
Yeah.
And so he was able to manipulate everything because he was somebody that everybody knew, not by his Darth name, but by his regular name.
And he had his own desires on immortality, which is why he was doing his experiments with Palpatine, which then causes the Force to answer with Anakin. This gets wiped all out. So that's why I bring up this particularly horrific shill account who has the nerve to call themselves HK47. All they ever do is do the HK47 shtick on X Twitter and says, commentary, after several weeks of the dumbest meatbags alive whining that canon will be irreparably ruined, the Acolyte threads the needles many said it would from the beginning. So without further ado, canon unblemished. No!
That's not what that means.
Even if you take out the Plagueis stuff, Yoda alone,
that's pretty bad.
It all.
You've ruined him as a character.
Everything has been ruined.
He's
Everything.
Yeah.
Just like let's say the cameo of Yoda didn't exist. Let's just say this. Whatever. Fine. He is currently the Grand Master of the Jedi.
Yes.
He should be aware of this.
He be aware, and he can't sense that at least 10 or 12 Jedi have been murdered during the time of peace. The Grand Master of the Jedi doesn't sense
all right.
He sensed
Dre, he was busy getting it on with Yaddle to make Grogu.
That's what it was. But he sensed a Jedi apprentice having a mental breakdown with sand people in Attack of the Clones.
Thank you.
That is very minor to a dozen Jedi getting slaughtered by a Sith.
Yeah.
Like everything about this show breaks canon, and if you want, Ki-Adi-Mundi was aware of a Jedi killer.
Yeah.
Period. It's over.
Go tell anybody. I mean, the Ki-Adi-Mundi thing was, as I said, it was nothing but a red herring. It was a blip on the radar, and what it does now, the Ki-Adi-Mundi incident in the show means nothing, but as a moment in this culture war, it was a shot across the bow of look how they're going to manipulate things to try and have it all line up. I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to change it and get it as far away from George Lucas Star Wars as possible. So you have this right here. So this is just my example of how they're dealing with it. And they do not care. They hate every little bit of it. And Leslye Headland has been in damage control for the whole goddamn time. I have other stuff that we're going to come back to with some Stan commentary, but that's for a later part of the conversation. So we have to get into this. So I found this article. I mean, Bounding into Comics had bits and pieces, but I went to the source of this right here. And Leslye Headland talks with Maggie Lovett. Remember Maggie Lovett, who during the Ki-Adi-Mundi Wikipedia incident said, I was sent all these horrible death threats and horrible DMs and this, that, never showed one bit of receipts. Never showed one. Not one. So remember Maggie Lovett, she's going to play a very large role in all of this going forward because she is a water carrier to the extreme. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Look how long this article is. Come on, slide with me here. There we go. Look at all this garbage. All this. I pulled out 3 points on Friday. I made a video on Friday that pulled out 3 points. And we'll briefly go over those as we go into others. One.
Oh my God, this article is longer than the Bible. What is this?
Yeah. Yeah. But they spent a lot of time talking about how we'll start with this because I'll actually no, we'll come back to the first one I talk about because I want to bridge that to the next segment. They keep claiming all this stuff has the best lightsaber fights ever. Best lightsaber fights ever. Oh, you're doing so well. I want to know about the process of outdoing yourself every time. They think that the episode 5 lightsaber fights and the finale fights were just top tier. I want to know how the process of outdoing yourself every time. That's what made these fight sequences so impressive. Headland, second director unit, Chris Cohen, and I, we were shooting for immortality. We were like, we are effing going for it. We want to top Duel of the Fates. We want to top the train station in the Matrix. We will settle for nothing less. I will leave this up to the viewer as to whether or not we achieved that. But in my heart of hearts, I was like, we achieved that as far as I'm concerned. They still think they did better than the choreography. This is the review. This is the interview post finale. They think they're winners.
I mean, I'm no expert on choreography, but from the scenes I saw, whoever was doing it, their brain shorted out when more than 2 people were involved in a fight. Like, their brains literally could not cope with more than 2 people at a time. So, no, I'm not saying you're going to be any of these examples or the worst imaginable. Like, they look worse than the sequel trilogy fight scenes, and that's really saying something.
I mean, here's the thing. I want to show you this right here at how bad it was. Let me get it for you so you can see it in all its retardation. And I
saw the hand-to-hand fight between the two twins.
It's ridiculous.
Made me want to rip my own eyes out. That mess hurt my soul. I felt my nutsack shrink up and go into my body.
You have this type of. You've got this right here. Let me stop this and reshare the episode. It's a lot. It's literally just swinging to hit light sticks, and then you top it off with stuff like this. You saw it right there. They literally went to immediately push their sabers against each other above the emitters.
Yeah.
They went to hit that mark. But it gets worse because then you have ridiculous crap. Here it comes. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely needed slow-mo here.
See, okay. I'm a sucker for old school Wuhan films. All right.
Okay.
So I love string work. I love Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like movies like that. So for me personally, I didn't really have an issue with the string work. I just thought the slow mo was kind of retarded.
It has no place in Star Wars. Is my
that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But like for me, I think the string work is fine. Now I understand where you're coming from, Adam. I get it because this isn't old school Wuhan film. It's not. It's not what it's supposed to be. And I get that they're trying to reinvent is not the right term. Try to add something new to Star Wars choreography.
There's the point. You make a great point. Sorry to interrupt you. That's Leslye Headland. She actually says in this interview, I'm mashing everything together at the end of it. She goes,
we know it's a hot mess.
It was my purpose to make it. We'll go down here. It's towards the bottom. It was my purpose to combine it with what in her earlier interviews, Frozen, Kill Bill. And then she goes as far to say, we get to the right point here, that now it's down towards the bottom. Sorry. It was easier when I made my video. I could cut it out and clip to it, get it to it instantly. That she's taking inspiration from Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo.
I can see that. But once again, you make the
but not
point.
Just in that. She's talking about the character work, not the action. The character.
Well, no, I can't help her there. I can't help you there. The characterization of these characters are horrific. The twins, May, Osha, their face and heel turns are like the Big Show. I don't know who's doing what. I don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. I don't know what's going on. This just like I feel like oh God. Now I'm thinking about it. So like I'm gonna try to. Bang Smilo Ren, even though he killed all of the closest friends I ever had.
Right, there you go. All right, so
there you go.
We'll jump to that real quick. Then we'll go to that because that will. I could tie it in. We'll tie it in, and we'll have that discussion because we're going to be jumping back and forth now between different things. So you have that right there. So you mentioned that they early in the article were talking about the fact that they hired Manny Jacinto because he was sexy on TV. And they knew he could play these roles. He could play a role that incorporated a romantic lead.
That's fun. Look, I don't mind you casting a sexy demon. I've got no problem with that. My issue is how the romance works. Adam, this is my problem.
That's my point. Their entire goal of the romance was dysfunction. Abuse is romance.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what they think. Because think about this. You were about to get it. So you just said it a second ago.
Yeah.
Osha watched him slaughter all those Jedi, including people she was friends with and somebody she wanted to scissor with. Okay.
Yes.
She watched all that. And then he takes her back to the cave where Plagueis is watching them.
Yeah,
and
apparently.
He spends by this show's timeline, a couple of hours hanging out with her, seducing her, making her look at it, getting naked, making her look at his dick when he gets out of the waiting pool.
That's exactly
it
what
all
happened.
And then talking about be free, feel yourself, and embrace your emotions. He's basically seducing her. And then by the end of it, has her put on the helmet where she has a moment of, I get in touch with my dark side, and then comes out of it. And when you get to the finale, she's all about, now I'm in control. You do what I say. But I haven't. He keeps saying, join me. And all she says is no. Not saying no because I watched you just kill a bunch of people. Just no. We have to go kill my sister. It's all messed up. Like you said, her motivations are all over the place. And then it all ends with her going to the dark side and agreeing to go with him. And now everybody, as you said, is saying this is some sort of epic romance that they've started.
This is sick.
And I'll show you the sickness. I will show you the sickness because I have it right here. Let me just choose.
I mean, in no way, shape, or form does her face and heel, then heel turn again, make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
I watched you murder my friends, and then you kidnapped me, and now you whip your schmeat out and try to hit me in the face with it, and now we're in love.
And
that's not real.
Here's the second to last screenshot before we get to Yoda.
No, please tell me this is sarcasm.
No, this is Maggie Lovett, who was just interviewing Leslye Headland. Two perfect, beautiful people who have actually never done anything wrong in their entire lives. Because it's the whole, they've been abused by everybody else. So they're in the right. They're the sympathetic bad guys. And now they're going to have the epic romance. And at one point, it cuts where she's holding the lightsaber, which she bled. We're not going to talk about bleeding crystals. You want to hear me complain about bleeding crystals?
Nope, we don't even need to go there.
Go watch my review. Go watch my review. Go watch my review. You don't hear me complain about the hair. Or watch the stream where Gal and I were doing the autopsy the other day. Watch that. I talk about that. But at one point, she's holding the lightsaber, and then he holds her hand over holding the lightsaber, instigating that they're going to have their epic romance. And then it starts this. Oshamir is born. An entire account. Oshamir daily. I have crossed oceans of time to find you. It's the new Raylo. It's the new sick, degenerate, dysfunctional Raylo, where abuse is romance. He abused her. He mentally abused her for a couple of hours, and suddenly she's got Stockholm syndrome, and she's into him. But now the weirdness. Now I have a couple other ones here. Here comes of course, here comes all the fan art. Training. Everything stacked. The training.
It's still better than the fan art I saw. Did you see the one where they were having sex and Plagueis is in the background grinning and sipping?
No.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was
really bad.
And then there's this one. I'm sure you love that their account name is Yennefer, Jed. I'm sure you love that.
It's
sympathetic
Yennefer, so.
I know. A sympathetic anti-heroine with the galaxy at her feet and a brooding king at her side. No one is doing it like them. Let's start writing season 2 script.
What? God.
They're pushing. And this one I was telling Jed about. This one, their whole account. Now I got blocked. Now I wasn't blocked until this morning. I wasn't blocked yesterday when I should have taken the screenshots. I didn't think it was a certain amount of time had gone by. I didn't think I was going to get blocked, but I did. Their entire account is mashing together scenes of Stenberg and Jacinto from other content into love scenes. And talking about how this is how they wake up in the morning. This is what he does to her. This is it's one of those. So they are fingering themselves all over the place to this.
Oh yeah.
And this is and it's supported by Collider, Maggie Lovett Smith. You saw that, Maggie Lovett and Leslye Headland. They are actively doing it because then right here on Collider, they have an article just from yesterday, which Maggie Lovett promoted on X Twitter. Kamir and Osha's dynamic is what we've been waiting for in Star Wars.
Who's been waiting for this? Who are these ones and twos of people? Who?
OSHA
No
and
one.
Camille's romantic tension, and empathetic connection defies expectations, especially for the Sith.
Did they? Oh, man.
Now, Dre. Now, this is why you started it, so we had to go down the hole a little earlier than I intended. This is where they are. They think this is a thing, that these two are having this epic romance, and I've been blocked by several accounts pointing out to them. You do realize she's going to gank him, because that's what a Sith apprentice does.
No,
They block me.
They don't realize that at all.
They block me because they're not their stance. So you have this, and then this was out the other day from Kotaku.
Oh boy.
Star Wars: The Acolyte gives Reylo fans the romance they always wanted. Who do you? I'm going to give you. It's Kotaku, so I might be leading the witness here. Who do you think wrote this article? Who do you think wrote it? Any guesses? Chat, you can guess. I'll give you a chance. Nobody? You won't be surprised. Alyssa
Oh, of course.
And she is getting praised by Maggie Lovett, all of them, Rachel Leishman. They're all pushing this article of how great it is, how awesome it is that we're getting this. Star Wars fandom is fraught, fervent place in the modern age. Online communities rallying around franchises are often composed of numerous splinter groups, and Star Wars is no exception. It's got far-right reactionaries, original trilogy boomers, millennial prequel loyalists,
oh my Christ,
Gen Z animated series lovers, and of course, the Reylos. It's that last group, fans who ship characters Kylo Ren and Rey Palpatine of the sequel trilogy, and who are often women or queer folks that have felt ostracized by other Star Wars fans in the years since 2019's Rise of Skywalker, and are now feeling justified because they get to watch another abusive relationship get
they
thrust on the
deserve to
screen.
be ostracized.
Adam, I think I finally got it. I finally got it. It took me a while, but I got it.
Yeah.
Leslye Headland and all these broads that's writing for Star Wars now, they're all the girls that used to collect the CVS books. Remember the CVS books back in the day where Fabio Flintstone, that's butt naked, and the lady,
porn.
Yeah,
original girl porn.
Yeah, and they're always draped over like forbidden love and all that other crap. They've taken over the asylum. This is what's happening.
Yeah,
they're writing for Star Wars.
So we're not going to read the rest of this. From that first paragraph, you know exactly where it's going. She's going to be promoting all the finger-licking, thrusting goodness that they think that is going to happen here.
Sweet Moses.
It's terrible. This is the audience they wanted, and this is the audience that they are happy to have. So you've got that, but it goes deeper than that, because you have to understand Leslye Headland is disturbed. We go back now to the review article here, and let me see if I can get it to the right spot, because I touched on this in my video on Friday, but I want you guys to react to this now. They talk about the whole big deal is the fact that Master Squid Game Saul was a father figure, and he betrayed OSHA by killing her mother. Mind you, he killed her when she turned into a giant smoke dark force monster and looked like she was about to attack another little girl.
Yeah. No, he was justified in doing that. And what relationship did they have up to that point to justify father figure to OSHA?
No. Okay.
I don't remember the girls straight. No, I can't tell the girls apart, but wasn't he more of a father figure to the other girl?
Well, he was, but because Leslye Headland was lazy and couldn't deal with having actual twins on set because she got confused, she hired two fraternal twins. And so the one that he thought was OSHA was actually May, even though they looked nothing alike. That's last week's, not this week's, but last week's FNT. Disparu quoted he brought it up on the show, an interview where Headland actually said, "I didn't hire twins because I was confused on set."
That's just an excuse.
That's just retarded. But we have here how Saul's betrayal of the father is juxtaposed with the original trilogy. Now she talks about what it means to be a father and have a father and daughter. Now, have you guys ever heard of something called benign sexism?
What is that?
Well, here we go. Let's read.
Sounds made up.
Leslie's going to tell us, guys. answering the question about why she had to kill him and all that stuff. We also knew that it was always going to be the betrayal of the father, and I knew we had to juxtapose Luke's forgiveness and Vader's redemption. We're like, this is a story about Sith. I haven't seen a Sith in this entire series, so I don't know what they're talking about. So that's not going to happen. You're absolutely right. There's this thing that's called benign sexism, and part of it is this paternal protectionism. It seems like this good thing, but like you said, there's this, I have to protect you from everything. I have to make sure you're okay. I have to tell you what track to get on. And then once you're on that track, I need to support you. That sounds like a good dad.
That sounds like parenting.
Being a good dad.
But he's got the wrong genitals, so it's bad. But
so it's bad.
If a mother did the exact same thing, like the lesbian Space Wish moms were doing, it's okay.
Exactly. Excellent point. Everything she did was good, even though she was strange and abusive. And even though he was a weird, obsessive, middle-aged man over a 6-year-old, 10-year-old girl, he was this describes a good dad, trying to do good dad stuff. But now, so Leslye Headland is going to tell you now that good dads are bad. Ultimately, what happens, again, this is a father-daughter relationship. As women evolve in their lives and develop their own personalities separate from their fathers, at some point, they have to reject that protectionism. Again, I'm so proud of it. I have so many favorite moments in the show. I have like 100, and I'm happy to go through all of them right now. One of my favorite moments is when he says, I did everything because I love. He's going to say, I love you. And not only is that a level of attachment that an unbalanced Jedi would have. Remember, Saul is portrayed as the worst kind of Jedi on purpose in the show to show you that the Jedi cannot control their emotions, and it's going to lead to Anakin killing everybody. He very clearly is losing in the last half of the season, but that's also the justification for what kind of behavior between the father and the daughter. The daughter has to surpass him in some way. She cannot stay a little girl or an adolescent or a young adult. She has to, at some point, say, I reject what you have told me I need to do to make you proud, to follow in your footsteps. She has to do that.
Why does it not shock me that Leslye Headland very clearly has father issues?
Yep. Well put. Well put.
So to surpass him, she has to murder him?
She has to reject the fact that he was a good dad and tried to protect her and keep her on sane, safe, and sound.
But murder him.
Yeah, in this case. I got to know, what does a good non-sexist dad look like to her? To Leslye Headland.
Good question.
Is it possible in her mind to be a good father?
I don't know. I don't. But this is dysfunction. So is it any wonder that she happily writes romantic dysfunction as true romance? Is it any wonder?
Well, seeing what her wife acts like, I'm thinking that's what she likes.
Listen, they are lesbians, so I guess they know what abuse looks like. So
this is deep. Which, statistically speaking, they are in the most abusive relationships in America. 110%.
Yep. And just to remind you, as I said before, they continue to talk about what it meant for her to literally take his lightsaber. They say it right here. Without getting too explicit, James Friend, who was the, I guess, director of photography of that episode, when he shot looking into the lightsaber, because when she takes the lightsaber that's broken, that shouldn't even work before she bleeds it, we've always seen a lightsaber as, and Maggie Lovett says, phallic symbol.
Give me a break. Turn this off.
Says, exactly. You said it, not me. To look inside it, look down it, to see it's. They think a lightsaber is a penis, so they literally have her take his penis and kill him with it.
Why are lesbians so obsessed with phallic imagery?
Because they need to keep shoving something up there. I don't know.
Oh my God. This kind of mental illness. This is deep, man. Who looks at a lightsaber and just thinks about penises? Who does?
Yeah.
Who are these people? These people aren't well.
This explains the audio-visual support for the episode, holding the throbbing lightsaber up to his throat.
Oh my God!
There is still so much in this, and I encourage you, if you want to see it, it's terrible. They rip on Darth Plagueis, but then at the very end, towards the very end,
my God,
this has not been renewed for a season 2. It hasn't.
Of course not.
It's 2020, but it's great. It's 2024. It's a 50-50 shot. If something lost, if you just spent $180 million with no return on subscribers or merch or advertising, you would say, wow, we can't do this again.
Perfect.
But they're going to probably try and spin this and show the social media interaction as a positive when in fact the majority of it is negative, and say, look, it's got interaction, attraction. That's what we need in season 2. So
you can't justify another $180 million. You can't.
If you rob Peter to pay Paul within your own company, you can.
Oh, there'll be robbery. Robbery.
So we don't know if it's going to happen or not. But Leslye Headland says this. Let me see if I can find it where I have it. Here it is. Is this it? No, that's not that. Let me find it. Again, it's such a large article. I lose my place. Maybe I should have had different tabs open in different spots.
I think you should.
That's a lesson I've learned for the next time we deal with a large article. Different tabs open to different spots. Hey, learning experience.
Yeah.
I can learn. I can evolve.
Or just get a highlighter extension.
Yeah, here it is. Maybe in season 2. But I think maybe season 2, and I think this is where she talks about where she's going to say, basically, I want to read it to you. God damn it, where is it?
What happened to the whole I didn't make this to have a season 2?
Yeah, what happened to that? Exactly. Excellent point. Truly, any online support and love you can send to the show, do it now. It's a little tricky because of the way the internet works. But if you enjoyed the show and you want to see more of the story, any support that you can give the show on social media platforms would be super helpful. Sending love to the cast too. You've seen that with Hayden Christensen. Don't bring
Hayden Christensen into this.
Don't bring him in.
Yeah, don't bring the poor man in there. He's suffered enough.
He went through his gauntlet and he behaved like a gentleman and a grown-ass man throughout the whole thing, and has earned his place as part of the fandom. Okay? Don't bring him in here. And so even if you were the kind of like whatever on the show, if you enjoyed the performances, get on their social media, let them know that you love them or that you support them or the performance was great. So she's here begging for social media support to get a season 2, which means this thing is not guaranteed a season 2.
Heck no.
It's not.
They've dumped Love Island is getting more viewership than they are. Now, what is Love Island? My wife watches that show, and I just figured out what it is. It is literally an island filled with people with young, taut bodies sitting there trying to hook up with each other. There are no challenges. There are no elimination. Nothing.
It's no game. It's just
no games.
Let's get to
They're
the
just sitting there with a camera and an hour, just sitting there like, man, I think she's hot. Oh my god, I think he's hot. I think she's hot. That's it. That's it for 45 minutes. And then the next episode is we brought more whores. Like it's nonsense. It's nonsense of the highest order. That show is getting more viewership than the Acolyte.
Cool. Yeah, and it got spin-offs too. There's like Love Island Australia or some shit coming out.
I'm sure. I'm certain of it.
But you understand
this is a better franchise.
Where are we where they have to get a season 2, they're telling you talk about it on social media. And that's why I said they think that if they get enough traction on social media, that will sway because that's what Disney puts in front of investors. They don't put the Nielsen or lack thereof numbers in front of investors. They don't put the Samba substandard numbers in front of investors. They say, look, it's being talked about on social media. But you want to see what it actually is being talked about on social media, how it's being talked about. And this is going to lead us to our next part of this conversation, where some of these stands they're melting down. And we're talking, these are children, literal children, who get on and say shit like this. This one, notice the flag. Notice the flag.
Yeah,
why are these legends fans sticking to the idea that not a single Jedi died or fought in a war after the Sith War and before the Clone Wars? Are they stupid? Now, she says Sith War like that. She even knows what this is.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
And I replied to them with saying, and I've in my other discussions, I've actually said, we're not surprised because we have actual lore at our backs. We know that Revan existed. We know that the Keldroma brothers and Exar Kun existed. We know that Darth Vitiate, Tenebrae, Valkorion, whatever you want to call him, because all three are the same guy, just moved his soul to different bodies. When he was the Sith Emperor during the Old Republic, we know that all this shit happened. That Jedi fell, became Sith. We're not surprised. So you're the ones pretending like this is a new thing. And then this same one, not in response to me, but on the same day, says this stuff right here. I think a lot of Star Wars Legends fans needs to admit that their knowledge is out of date a lot of the time. It isn't a problem, but there's a whole new canon.
No,
What went for the old canon isn't the same, and it's okay to admit you don't know the new stuff rather than pretend.
You're not pretending to know the new stuff.
There is no
You're
new stuff
rejecting
that
it.
has lore.
You said the right
What are they
words yet.
talking about?
It's been rejected. And many people say a lot of times, and a lot of the streams says, Adam, you're trying to apply actual Star Wars lore to this garbage nonsense. Dre, I think you've said it a number of times to me. And granted, I shouldn't be trying to do that, but I bring it up to juxtapose it to this, to show you how weak and lame it is, how stupid it is, how pathetic it is, how they, for somebody who likes to say, you need to forget about it, where do you think they get all their ideas from?
Yeah.
They go to pillage the EU every
Yes.
goddamn chance they take.
Exactly. And that's the part that gets me. If they were going to establish a new, and I use this term loosely, canon, why on earth are you cherry picking from what came before? Why in the world would you then take what is real canon and then try to make some freaky amalgamation?
Exactly.
And I find it funny that someone like this is telling us that we need to let it go. We need to stop pretending. When you're somebody pretending with that kind of flag in your bio right there, you're the one that's pretending. You're the one that's pretending. But no, it's just fascinating that they demand this, and then to have someone like this come out and say Star Wars is in a better place than it was before Disney took control. Look what we've gotten since Rebels, Ahsoka live action, Rey, Skywalker, and Kylo Ren, the Bad Batch, the final season of Clone Wars, Hayden back, Andor, and so much more to come.
Literally, none of that stuff was successful.
Literally,
Yeah,
and I
those
replied
aren't
to
wins.
I replied to this before Disney Star Wars, making billions of dollars every year on merch and books and movies, billions, games. It was the goose that laid the golden egg every day, and George took care of it. Fan base united, happy, having nerd arguments, not broken, shattered, run around, but nerd arguments.
Yeah, the type you could shake hands and walk away from. And
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just for the fun. Like the example we always use is who could beat Batman in a fight. Well, prep doing that. Those could get violent verbally. But you mentioned, Adam, when was the last time, if ever, that Disney made $1 billion from Star Wars in a year?
Never. We've seen the numbers.
With the budget of Force Awakens.
Gross, they made it gross.
Yeah, not talking about not talking obviously about 2014, 2013 when they bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
But just a year in and of itself, taking out the debt that they have from a previous year or something like that. Would Force Awakens be the only year, 2015, that they made $1 billion in a year?
With Disney. With
Disney.
With Disney. I would say yes, gross.
Yes.
Yeah, gross, yes. I wouldn't say net. Not under any circumstance.
Maybe because I think a lot of people bought the fool's gold with Force Awakens. So they bought a lot of merch was bought that year.
I think 2015 that they would have netted $1 billion.
They might have.
Because my budget for Force Awakens was like $400 million or something. It was astronomical.
They netted about, according to, if I remember the Forbes article correct, they made about $400 or $500 million in profit off of Force Awakens, if I remember properly. And then diminishing returns happened right away. And
obviously 2016 did not get there. But 2015, I would say, is the only possible year.
I think that's fair,
$1 billion in a year.
That's fair.
I can go with that. But they haven't made money.
Oh God,
no way towards money. And my other point on this when I said this was, and before Disney Star Wars, coherent storytelling. Coherent. This is disjointed, full of plot holes where they have to come in and I believe there was an article shown where Leslye Headland says we like it where you come in and have your own ideas. They are making this so that the stands can come in and fix it with their headcanon. That's the way they want it. They want it opaque. They want it the threads all over the place so that the stands will come in and fix it and be satisfied with their headcanon instead of that. So I bring this up to you. This is the thought process. They think that we're old and stupid. We have to let it go. They think that everything is great and golden right now. So I ask you this question. I now ask you this question for this discussion topic right here as we wind down our discussion on Acolyte and Disney Star Wars. we had 30 plus years of George Lucas Star Wars with the EU. He approved it all. He oversaw it all. It all was Star Wars. And whether people bought into every ounce of the EU didn't matter. People still played the games and thought the games existed here or there. Everybody was into it to some extent. I mean, yes, were we always arguing each other? Yes. Were PT fans were always arguing with OT fans, and everybody's always going, shut up, EU people. We only care about movies. But it was not, the fan base wasn't shattered. But then Disney buys it. And all these stands, not all of them, not all of them are just these weirdo late teens, early 20s Zoomers who are a bunch of Soylent Green fed idiots. So put it that way. There are those who in there who existed prior who are useful fucking idiots. During the George Lucas era, why didn't they embrace George Lucas approved Star Wars? But suddenly Disney takes a hold of it and every little aspect of it has to be canon. Oh, this is all canon now. It wasn't canon when George oversaw the EU video games, comics, and all that kind of stuff and had it out there. That wasn't canon. But suddenly Disney gets a hold of it and says, these movies, these games, these comics, these books, this is all canon now. And they wear this up. Why the change? Why the change?
It's all about suppressing what is actually any good. It's the same thing for all the other franchises that's been around forever, and now they're like, hey, forget about all that great stuff that you have for decades. Our slop is what's the real thing. Like, and it's the same attitude of, I am creatively bankrupt. I cannot create anything. I'm not good at anything. So the only thing I can do is to try to tell people that what came before that was actually good and great and wonderful and fan-driven is nothing. Mm-hmm. And what I have established is what's real. That's the only thing you have when you have no creative bones in your body. You have to suppress it. But the point that they keep forgetting is that there are millions and millions of people that loved that stuff. And you are trying to create a new, use that term very loosely, audience off of slop that is going to be contradicting to the good material that everybody was into. So you created a civil war for yourself before you even got started. The moment that KK came out there and said that the EU will be dubbed as Legends, it was over. It was over before it even got started. Because I think that was like either right before or right after Force Awakens came out.
It was 2014. They did it right before it came out.
Right before it came out. Excellent. So it was right before it came out. And I remember a collective gasp when it was.
That was my black pill. That was the moment I black pilled.
It was a collective gasp because all the fans up to this point have devoted decades of fandom to not only the EU, but to all the expanded stuff that was connected to the original trilogy. And you just said all that stuff, all that investment that you made over the decades of fandom means nothing. That is how you get rid of that is how you divide, to say the least, divide a fan base instantly, by saying all your investment and monies meant absolute nothing. So that's the only way they can do it.
Hundreds of dollars right there. That's hundreds of dollars of my own money. Well, some of my mom's money from how old they were and how old I was, but my own money's in there too. Because those like 90. Well, it's all first editions. I had to rebuy some of them myself when I put, but those are all first editions. So these are old. These are from when they were first released, first printings. That's money, like you just said, Dre. Money spent, and we're not even talking about video games. That's
a different level.
How many times have I rebought KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2 for different platforms?
Exactly. And just think about that. Like a lot of people. Like you mentioned earlier, Adam, there's always been a bit of a fraction in between the like of what folks consider to be the canon.
Yeah.
Of course, the movies are always number one, and then there was always a debate between either the books or the video games. Now, but I'm pretty sure that Lucas said movies, books, video games.
6 movies, books,
Book,
comics, video games.
It's perfect. But there are those that were the video game fans that really would
Actually,
like to see certain things.
You can rotate video games and comics. It depends on which video game. Like
depends.
Case by case.
Like right now, like Star Wars: The Old Republic, there's a lot of actual canon stuff in there. KOTOR stuff is more canon.
Yeah.
Force Unleashed has canon elements, but there's an actual book of Force Unleashed, so that kind of moves it up in the tier. But you're absolutely right. It's all about understanding
the hierarchy of canon.
Yeah, there was a hierarchy. Yeah. There was a hierarchy and there was a structure that was understood but not always agreed upon. Yeah. Because of how it moves up and down.
Yeah, because to your point, as I said, and that's why I replied to that particular statement on Twitter. I said it was a solid fan base. Yeah. Star Wars was never a unified fan base.
Agreed.
We were always fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, perfect example. One, on Thursday, when I was doing the autopsy and Gal was joining me, Samuel jumped in. Samuel the Infamous jumped in for a minute, and he said, I'm a guy who thinks the OT is the only thing that matters. He said that. He's one of those guys. And, you know, we give each other shit of that. What if you were watching FNT this Friday? They had Star Wars Theory on. Gary started to shit on the prequel trilogy, which is what Gary does. And Theory said, wait, you don't like the prequel trilogy? I mean, it happens in real time.
Yeah.
The nerds have their moment, have their places and where we all think this shit is. But it's nerd shit. And we can debate and fight about it. And as Jed said before, walk away with a handshake. Yep. And also maybe a middle finger. But we still walk away. Yeah. But that's all of our points here. It was working. And as Dre said, you throw out the EU in 2014 and then claim we don't have thousands of pages of source material. You have the nerve to say that shit. Yeah, you have the nerve to say shit. But right there, that's where you light the embers of the actual rebellion. Right there. The most hardcore of the hardcore are now pissed at you. And then we go, and because for the moment we sound like the lunatics, we just backed away and faded away to sulk in a corner, because that's what we did. I blackpilled and I sulked in a corner for 6 years until Last Jedi happened. And you then fractured the fandom literally in two. And then since then have done nothing to bring it back, supporting people like the examples I showed who actively say, shut up. With that one I showed you saying you need to stop pretending, that statement is also literally saying that Disney Star Wars is more legitimate than George Lucas Star Wars. And that is why I asked this question. What goes on in somebody that can reject 30 years of George Lucas approved Star Wars and then suddenly say that everything Disney does has to be the canon going forward? Because I don't understand that mentality. If you are a true Star Wars fan, if you actually love the franchise like the way I do.
Because they don't, Adam.
Yeah, that's the qualifier.
That's the point.
Okay.
They don't.
I mean,
these are people that did not like it, period. And 9 times out of 10, even they've gone on record as saying that they never even watched it or read it or know anything about Star Wars. And then they're in the project. These are people that have absolutely no idea where this fandom is, where it came from, how many people love this, and what it means. For them, this is just a job. Which, look, I'm not going to fake on anybody for trying to get the bag, but this is something you have to know about. Just like for any job. If I go and try to get an electrician job, and I've never touched 2 electric cables together, I should not be getting the job. These people know nothing of Star Wars at all. Yeah. And now they're like, well, we're in charge. I mean, it's nonsense.
I told this to Jed and Dragon Lady before you got here in the pregame, Dre, that last night I was on Saturday. We were dicking around and I went into my DMs, and we all get these occasional DMs. You say, new message from unknown sender. And I said, what? And I said, the boys say, okay, guys, I got a fresh message. What kind of message you think it is? And I said, they go, it's a bot, porn bot. And I said, well, or is it a death threat? And I said, well, because I've gotten death threats in my DMs before for just saying my opinion and trolling people. And I open it up, and somebody says, the name was like Jedi Hater Boy. Says the lone statement is, why do you pretend to be a Star Wars fan? Now, this person clearly wants to engage me in a DM debate where they can then screenshot and listen, I deleted it. I'm not going to play. You're a coward. But I'm going to full screen myself and just remind everybody, Yeah. Why do I pretend to be a Star Wars fan? I haven't spent literally my entire life collecting games, collecting toys, collecting books, reading it, immersing myself in it. The first franchise close to my heart. I haven't. I'm not a fan. I'm just not. It's all for show. I haven't read anything. I haven't done videos and streams and discussions. I haven't spent my time enjoying it. I haven't spent more money on video games that I already own to get different versions. I've never done that in my life. Never.
The psychology of these stands is so difficult to understand, but like what Jerry was saying, it's so much easier to understand the creators who are making these decisions, the people currently at Lucasfilm and in recent Disney Lucasfilm years. It's an exercise in jealousy. These people have such inferiority complexes because they're not talented and they don't have any experience. And so they're trying to wipe out the original George Lucas Star Wars, that entire pantheon of material, to make something that they think is just as good, to make themselves as good as he is. It's all jealousy. They just want to be George Lucas.
But they can't.
They physically cannot be. So that's why they had to wipe everything out, because it had to be their creation. Their name had to be associated with it. They had to overwrite everything he did to make themselves feel better about their own ineptitude.
Yep, I agree.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
And most likely, some of them probably weren't even around when the original films were around, especially the prequels. Some of them probably were nappies when the prequels happened. But I was around about maybe 10, something like nearly 10 years old when Phantom Menace came out. So I was nearly leaving primary school in the UK when that came out, and nearly every single boy in the class was dressed as Darth Maul that Halloween.
Oh yeah. That's what love. And they have to pay people to dress up at this shit. They have to put themselves out there. The Yord Horde. They have to create fake memes to generate traction.
And I didn't get into Star Wars until 4 years ago, but even I can look at the Disney stuff and compare it to George Lucas and say, the George Lucas stuff's a lot better than
the worst of George Lucas is better than Disney Star Wars. And I can admit that.
Even I can say that.
Yeah, and Jed and I, we've been over this on different streams on Drive-In. I can admit that the prequel trilogy is not the best in the world, but it's still Star Wars and it still has heart and soul. Has a heart and soul. None of this has a heart and soul, and it is literally falling apart. And that's why they're reacting to this. Because if you go deeper, and remember, I'm the one who sees all the stand stuff because I troll them. I troll them on a regular basis. It's my enjoyment on it's my thrills that I get for playing on X Twitter if I'm not ripping on Dermy. They are literally attacking every little thing everybody says right now because the walls are closing in and they see it. It's crumbling. What's coming up next? Skeleton Crew.
Oh, boy.
And Young Jedi Adventures Season 2. And that's just some more High Republic nonsense. But you got Skeleton Crew. Now, listen, I'm going to cover Skeleton Crew. And
enjoy.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not going into it expecting to have to do massive, they break lore conversations. I'm going into it to be, I'm probably going to say, what the hell is even this? That's what that's the attitude with which I'm going into it. I'm not going into it to be, I know I'm probably not getting angry. It's going to be, this is weird. This is stupid. Jude Law, why are you even in this? That's
why wasn't he on the poster that they released for that?
Because
they're trying to do the Goonies or something, right?
It's not even that. It's the weirdest marketing that we've seen for this stuff because they've released leaks. Because Lego's done their Lego thing where they're releasing play sets. So that's where you learned about the kids that are a part of this from a Lego set. And now they just keep releasing little piecemeal things. There's been no marketing campaign for this at all. You have an actual Hollywood notable actor like Jude Law as your star, and he's not out there at all. Where's Jude Law?
You realized how bad it was?
I don't blame him.
Listen, I don't have a problem with Jude Law as an actor. I don't know his opinions on anything, so that's why I'm kind of neutral on Jude Law because he just keeps his mouth shut. Therefore, I have no opinion on Jude Law. So why don't you have Jude Law out there who has a very good, I would say, relationship with dealing with media and fans because people have nothing negative to say about Jude Law. Why isn't he out there promoting this already? It's a couple months away. It's happening soon. Where's Jude Law? Nowhere.
Jude Law is at home chilling.
Counting his money.
He knows what's going down. So
I don't blame him.
They Skeleton Crew has been done for a year. Like Acolyte, they've been sitting on this thing for a while. It was supposed to come out last December. They pushed it back. It's been done. So they've got Skeleton Crew coming out. They have that horrible, stupid, retarded Young Jedi Adventures where they're pushing more weird old High Republic crap.
Ugh.
And then that's it. That's it until Mando Grogu. I'm sorry, Andor season 2. Andor season 2. Andor.
I thought that got axed. I thought that was
no. Season 2. No, it was a package deal. It's one of those package deals they had.
Oh, okay.
It's leading into Rogue One. So
okay, so it was guaranteed. It was guaranteed 2 seasons.
Yeah, it was guaranteed 2 seasons. So Andor, and listen, people like it, but I will always maintain it's generic science fiction because you can take out every little single Star Wars reference in it, and it still works. If they had put out that as an average science fiction show, I'd probably like it. But when you jam in Star Wars and break lore at every left, right turn, then it's not fun. I don't care how good you think the writing is. I don't care how much you like Andy Serkis. It wasn't good. I'll die on that hill. I'll die on that hill. So they still got Andor season 2. That's maybe the only thing they get next year, Andor season 2. What else? Until Mando Grogu, which goes into production in the next couple of months. And then we wait for the Rey movie.
Oof.
Ahsoka season 2, that's been pushed back. We know it's happening, but we don't know when. And as far as Acolyte, I'll go with the math that they used on FNT. We'll know in a couple of months because that's how long it was before they said Ahsoka season 2. So we'll know in the fall if Acolyte's getting season 2. And as we described, that's not going to mean success or failure of Star Wars. That's metrics. It'll be based on metrics. So it'll happen when it happens. And if it happens, I'll cover it. I'll take care of it because that's the arrangement we have. I watch it so you don't have to. There we go. Any final thoughts on this before we I guess get a little positive, and we'll end on some positivity. Because I think we're all feeling positive about going into next week about this. Anything? We put a bookmark?
Yeah.
Right, well, I will keep covering. If there's Acolyte news, I will cover it because I'm gonna squeeze every little bit I can. Gotta run the grift. Anyway, all right. So next in a few short days,
before you go there, Adam, I think there was a super chat by Jay Frazier.
You are correct. Thank you. I did.
It's a good one too.
It's a good one too. So. I'm mentally waiting for the break. Thank you, guys. Jay Fraser 360 for 20 pounds. Thank you, Jay Fraser 360. Hail Roundtable. I have some good news. My nephew was born on Thursday. Congratulations. And I look forward to be the cool uncle who will show him pre-2016 media.
Hell yeah.
That's good uncle. Question for Adam and Dre. Who has the worst heel face turns, Big Show or the Twins?
I made a reference to Big Show earlier. That's awesome.
The Twins, because we still like the Big Show no matter what. We still like Paul White. Paul White puts on a good performance.
We love Paul White.
Yeah.
But these Twins, let's give Paul White, Big Show, at least he gets scripted some heel turns that's actually worth something. And he actually wins some titles because of it. These heel turns for these Twins make no sense, don't even push the story forward, and no one even knows what the heck is going on.
And listen, Paul White can actually act in the ring.
That's true.
Stenberg has one, maybe two expressions.
2 tops.
Either or banshee face. She did a banshee face this last episode. Made a banshee face. So that was thank you, Jay Fraser. Congratulations on being an uncle. Help raise that nephew. Yeah, nephew. You raised that young man right. Pre-2016. Hey, look, there's plenty of stuff. Plenty of good stuff that you can educate that young man on. So congratulations and thank you for your support as always, my friend. All right, so and thank you guys for reminding me because I was I put it there, go back to it, but I was in the throw of getting to the next segment. All right, so let's end on some positivity, shall we?
Hell yeah.
And hail and howdy to everybody that has been coming in. We're happy to have you here. And ignore the detractors, guys. They're here to try and get your ire up, and they're lame and they have no leg to stand on. They'll come in and say things, but they have no actual receipts or evidence. So you can play with them in the chat. we will continue the show. So we have one thing positive. I think it's fair to say that we are all pretty interested to see what's going to happen with Deadpool Wolverine this week. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was pretty confident when I said just about all of us, we're going to see this week, one way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the thing. Deadpool Wolverine, it is the outlier. It is not the MCU. In fact, all evidence shows it's going to be mocking the MCU heavily in it, which will lead us to be going, hell yeah, I'm having a good time with that. It would be nice to see them point out the obvious because Ryan Reynolds has enough sway that he can do that.
Oh, yeah.
And he can get away with it. But here we are.
And his movies make money.
His movies make money. I mean, listen, both previous Deadpool movies on their first one, very small budget, made a buttload of money.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, slightly higher budget, still made some money. We've been over it.
Absolutely.
Made a little bit more money than the first one. Gross.
Yeah,
gross. Yes.
So
gross.
They both made over $700 million. And here we are now. The budget for this one, I believe, is still sitting at $200 million. But I'm going to say it's probably more 250. And then add in this massive marketing campaign they've been doing. This has been in your face, really banking heavily on the charisma of Ryan Reynolds and the beloved nature that everybody has for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and their chemistry together. Yeah. That is also a thing. And the fact that they are, for everything you say, they were both excited and happy and into doing this. You can feel the energy. You can feel the electricity. They were very into this. We are now, what? I guess, is it premiering Wednesday night or Thursday night?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be at certain theaters, probably going to be Wednesday at midnight.
So let's just say 3 days. 3 days.
Sure.
It begins. It begins 3 days. And we got a final trailer the other day. Jed hasn't seen it, so we are actually going to watch it. We're going to watch it. It's Disney, so they don't care when we play trailers. So we are going to watch it right now. And it's the serious trailer. We've seen all the goofy shit. There is a little joke at the end. Serious stuff. So let's have a gander, and then we'll keep going.
I know I turn everything into a joke, but I care. I want to use that for something important. I waited a long time for this team up.
Now, we have to remark that a lot of these phrases and shots, they're not the same sequences. They're pulling stuff for dramatic effect, but it's working.
Things. Well, and even though it is serious, some of these are still jokes. I can still see the humor behind them. Even the shots with 20th Century Fox logo in the background.
The Hugh Jackman stuff is the serious stuff now. This is the serious nature of the trailer.
In my world, you're well regarded. You were an X-Man. Fuck that, you were the X-Man. The Wolverine.
And so it's establishing the existence of because remember, Deadpool takes place in the Fox X-Men universe where he is where the Wolverine where Logan was a hero and did all the stuff, all those movies.
He's a hero in my world. Yeah, well, he ain't shit in mine.
All right, now there's a problem.
It's a lot of Loki stuff.
The smoke monster from Loki. That is the only red flag.
And that's why I'm hesitant with this film because
I saw Dragon Lady's post. I'm like, oh, I know she's not pleased.
No, I'm sorry. I like Loki as a character, but even I got completely confused as to what on earth was going on in that show, and that's why I'm so hesitant with this film. I don't trust Disney. I don't trust them with this film at all. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And everybody who has a brain has had the same reaction. Oh, goddamn, the smoke monster. You had me, and then you show me the smoke monster.
Yeah, and on the last one, when they had the TVA on the very first trailer, the release was the TVA, and I was like, yeah, I'm out of this. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. That's one of the problems going into this movie. That we don't want to know TVA. We don't want smoke monster. Okay.
Scott used to beg me to wear this suit. So did Storm and the Beast. But I couldn't have him thinking I wanted to be there. And it was too late. It's only 9 people. But my entire world is right here in this picture. And I have no idea how to save it alone. But you know how to save it.
Whoever you think I am. You got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
Pause it there for a second. And you see, and now, question: do you think they should have held the Daphne Keene X-23 reveal hidden?
I agree. I agree. I thought that would have been a good. I mean, like me, I'm a big wrestling fan. I thought that would have been a huge theater pop. For if when you see X-23 on screen because Logan is such a beloved film, and in my personal opinion, it's actually on my Mount Rushmore of films in general. And I think just having her be revealed in theaters, I think would have been a really, really good thing. I don't think they needed to reveal her here to drum up people.
I'm sure she said in a recent interview that she was not in the film and she was going to see it as a fan rather than put it on here.
She just admitted in an interview yesterday or Friday afternoon that she took the Andrew Garfield route. She used him as an idea. Just deny, even though I'm in it.
For the most part,
smart lady.
Well, for the most part, Marvel's had a real tough time keeping cameos secret in their trailers. I mean, we look back at Civil War; they revealed the Tom Holland Spider-Man reveal. That would have been that would have been a great theater moment, like you're saying. And Spider-Man 3, the No Way Home, I think is a little different because it's Sony, but Disney Marvel has always had a problem keeping stuff for the theater.
And I think and you didn't need it, and that's my only problem. My thing is you don't need her to try to drum it up, and that's my only issue. I think people are going to flood. I think people would have flooded the theater just to see if she would show up.
Everybody's already made their decision on if they're going to see this or not. The first wave. And Jay Fraser brings up a great point here that they kept the Toby Andrew secret until they released the trailer where it was obvious there was action going on in the scene that had been edited out. and the internet
got it a couple seconds sooner.
And the internet autists were like, wait a minute, who punched that guy?
the lizard's head hit one of these jumps.
I got confused with that as well. Hang on a minute.
Internet will always be undefeated. Always be undefeated. So here we go. Let's finish the last couple of seconds of this.
Are you ready? Fuck yeah.
Lady Deadpool. All right. Everybody's been taking their bets. I'm going to say it's Blake Lively. That looks like her build for her body-wise. I think it's Blake Lively.
I could see it. I mean, there were the rumors that Taylor Swift was in this movie. That
none of it's going to be tied into Loki. I don't think she'll be in it. I cannot see that for reasons.
So I think it's probably Blake Lively because it would make sense being Ryan Reynolds' wife and all that.
I wanted to be Elizabeth Hurley just so it's Elizabeth Hurley just for me.
And behind it, you see here come all the multiverse Deadpools. So this is where that's more of the humor. Deadpool, Dogpool, Cowboy Deadpool, and who knows what else, probably all kinds of crazy shit. But it has everybody who's going to watch it for the and this is where the cameos go crazy. We know all the X-Men cameos. We know everything. There's pretty much been confirmed that we're going to have a Wolverine versus what's his name? No, Hulk. I believe there's this Wolverine Hulk fight.
Is that confirmed? I know that was rumored, but I don't know if that was confirmed.
I think it's happening.
That'd be great. I'd like to see it.
It's happening. Also, there's multiple Wolverines, not just Hugh Jackman Wolverine. There's gonna be other Wolverines in this.
Yeah, I know.
Is another one of them is going to be the actual MCU Wolverine going forward. That's a rumor. It's a rumor.
Fuck yeah, I'm ready. I'm the Wolverine.
Wait, one more part. This is a comedy.
Stop it.
All right, so we are 5 days away, 3 if we count early stuff. listen, I wouldn't say I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued because no matter how good this does, and let's give our final predictions. I'm still going to say this doesn't hit $1 billion. I don't think it has I don't want to say broad appeal, but the broad market base as an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
They dropped F-bombs in this trailer again. Kids aren't going to see this movie. This isn't your MCU fair where you can bring your kids to see it over and over again. This is an adult thing. And is it going to have a crazy opening weekend?
Absolutely.
Yes. I think this week, starting Wednesday, I think it's going to have like a 300 to 400 million opening weekend.
I'm willing to agree with that.
Worldwide. I think it's going to barnstorm because there is electricity for this. People are curious, intrigued. But then, like Dragon Lady, there is a secondary level of people who are going to sit back and wait to see what the rest of us have to say. I mean, I will likely after I see it, I'll probably put out a spoiler-free review because I'm critical of the MCU. But there it is. I'm gonna still be critical of the MCU because this will not change anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm inclined to agree with that. I we said this months ago. I don't think this has any effect on the MCU going forward at all. I think the MCU essentially is dead and buried. I think the only thing this will jumpstart is if there's any more Deadpool content coming forward. That's the only thing I would assume, or Wolverine or Deadpool based content coming forward. If they start doing more things with these two characters, it will draw more money to whatever projects those are. But as far as the MCU in general, this is a blip. This is essentially No Way Home. This is essentially No Way Home just years later.
And when No Way Home was coming out, I had the exact same thoughts that I have now. I thought they're going to ruin Tobey Maguire because they knew Tobey Maguire was more popular than Tom Holland at that particular time as Spider-Man. And they're going to probably kill him off in a disrespectful manner. And it's actually quite a good film, despite my earlier doubts. I'm hoping it'll be the same for this one, but I just don't trust Disney, who are in the background in this. And they're trying to link it up with Loki, which I did not like at all. So I'm absolutely terrified for this film until I hear otherwise, unfortunately.
And here's the thing. What's coming up next? Agatha.
Oof.
Woohoo. Then beginning of next year, next movie, Black Vault and Captain America.
Oh,
that disaster's
so many
coming.
great things.
And we talked
Not
about
my
this.
Captain America.
We've already talked about it. Any profit they make in this movie will be wiped out by the failure of that movie. That's just the realistic how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're in chaos. All reports are showing from official news and leaked news and rumors. Marvel Studios and Disney, they're in chaos right now. Rumors are they're reaching out to the Russo brothers to come back. Now, I don't think anybody really wins in that because the Russos did good and they did average. They did great. They did good and they did average. I am not a giant Endgame hater like some people. I thought it stuck the landing. I enjoy it for what it is with all its flaws.
Yeah,
and I
there are
acknowledge
definitely flaws in it.
Yeah,
I love that movie, but it's not the best the MCU has to offer.
Exactly.
It's flawed.
It's not even close.
When you base your time travel around Dragon Ball Z time travel rules, you're going to have a problem with your movie. It's going to be a problem.
It hurts stakes.
But they tied up all the original storylines good enough for me. So I like it. I can watch it. I don't go all up. It was terrible. It was that. I don't play that. It did what it needed to do. It ended the MCU as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
Anymore. And you could have taken a break. But the Russo brothers haven't done too well on their own out of the MCU. So who knows if that saves it? They're talking about skipping over McCang's and going right to Secret Wars.
Jesus.
I saw a possible release. I couldn't confirm it because it was right before the show. There's reports are saying that Kevin Feige is calling the next phase the Mutant Saga.
That's been confirmed.
That's confirmed. Okay,
yeah,
that is confirmed.
He's thrown out the multiverse saga. It is now the Mutant Saga, and in that same interview, he talked about Blade being rated R. Is the current plan as well?
Blade is not coming out ever.
It's not coming out. It's never coming out.
It won't be rated out at all. They tried to do that stunt with Echo earlier this year, and it was only 5 minutes.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I couldn't get time to confirm it. So that's confirmed. Okay, so the Mutant Saga leading into Secret Wars, which is the obvious soft reboot we've been predicting for years. none of this saves that. It's all chaos. And to a perfect question that's been posed on many other streams this week, who's your Avengers? Who are your X-Men?
These are all very good questions. Very good questions.
I mean, a Fantastic Four, different alternate reality. It's not even the prime time of the prime timeline of the MCU. And Pedro Pascal is going to sink that goddamn movie anyway.
Oh man, I forgot he was in it.
Golly. So the MCU is in horrible shape. Not as bad shape as Star Wars because it had a couple of bright spots, but the bright spots had nothing to do with Sony. We've mentioned them. Spider-Man had nothing to do with Disney. Spider-Man was a Sony project. This is maybe an MCU thing, but it's still more of a Fox project.
Yeah, it's a Fox holdover.
It's more a Ryan Reynolds thing than anything else. He kind of deserves his own category.
Yeah. So, and as fun as it is, this is probably the end of Deadpool. This is the last one, likely.
Probably so.
I mean, the rumors are they want to make Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman Wolverine a big part of the Secret Wars movie. But how many years away is that?
Yeah,
and they ain't getting no younger. Real talk.
No, they're not. I mean,
there's so many rumors around Secret Wars, like the Robert Downey Jr. coming
I heard
back
that one.
to play Doctor Doom.
There's not even a there is not a single continuity where Tony Stark is Doctor Doom. That is
not to my knowledge.
Fabrication.
Not to my knowledge at all.
There's no alternate reality where he is the leader of Latveria. Ain't a thing. Ain't a thing. Victor Von Doom is and always has been Doctor Doom.
Correct.
There's no alternate Doctor Doom. So, and if you're going to do that, he needs to already been set up.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been. So multiverse this will likely be a lot of fun. I'm going to hedge my bets and say people are going to have a lot of fun with this. It's going to be positive. It's going to make some money. I'm still not sold on $1 billion.
Yeah.
But I could see it getting over 900. I could see it
getting
over 900.
Fun but forgettable. I don't think people are going to be talking about this movie in 5 years like they talk about the first Deadpool, especially. People watch the first Deadpool all
Here's what's
the
going to
time.
happen. This is going to become one of those movies that you can watch in the best of clips.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
Well, with this one, because it's so tied in, like Dragon Lady was saying, unfortunately, to the MCU timeline with Loki and everything else, which I think is a major problem. To rewatch this film, you're going to have to rewatch so much leading up to it. It's not like a Deadpool trilogy that you can watch on its own. And that's a problem when everything that's leading up to it is such garbage. So people are just going to watch the first two. And I'm a big defender of the second one. I know a lot of people hate on that one, but I'm
a defender of the second one as well.
I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one. There are parts of it that just kind of fall away from me. I mean,
I like the depiction of Juggernaut. I thought
it's the best depiction of Juggernaut we've ever gotten.
That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
outside of that.
The thing with this one, I had to explain to my dad who the TVA actually were when I was telling him about the Deadpool 3 trailer, because obviously he doesn't have Disney Plus. So I had to tell him what the TVA were on Loki, and I just said they deal with time traveling and it's confusing. So I just left it at that.
So this is probably going to do well. We're probably going to have a fun time talking about it. But as you said, it's gonna run its course. I think it'll be well received. It'll make its money, and it'll sell its Blu-rays, DVDs, digital. But then it's just gonna be, have a seat next to No Way Home. That's where you live. You live in the same box as No Way Home, where it did well, but nothing changed because the MCU is still a disaster. It is still the Weekend at Bernie zombie walking along to the music, and when the music stops, it's going to fall face first into the ground, and people are going to walk by it and not even take a second look because nobody cares about the future projects coming up. That is the bottom line. Nobody cares. There's no excitement, and you can pretend you're going to get back all the actors here and there from no. I don't even want them back. I don't want it anymore. I don't. I have phases 1 through 3 on my shelf, mostly. A couple things I didn't bother with. I have most of it there. If I want to watch the MCU, I can plug it in my player anytime I want. I don't need them to give me more because I'm satisfied with what I get through phases 1 through 3. So We will talk about this next weekend. It'll probably be spoiler filled because we can't talk about it any other way. We will make sure you guys are aware of it as we get into it. But that's probably going to be, I would say, a large part of the discussion next weekend. Deadpool, Wolverine, because that's what everyone's going to talk about. That's the big thing this week. That's it. I mean, there will be House of the Dragon tomorrow, but that's a different category of interest for people. So with that said, I've got nothing else unless anybody has any final words on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nothing else.
All right. Well, look forward to all our takes then, guys. And we're done. So let's go around the horn, do our business, and get on with our days. Jed, what's going on this week?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. Just regularly scheduled live streams, especially Saturday Night Drive-In, which Adam will get to. So we'll see you all then.
All right. Dre.
So, as same as Jed, you can follow me on Twitter, X, Instagram, whatever, at TheBrute00. I'd love to hear from everybody, and my YouTube channels, of course, Brutal Plan Comics YouTube channel, and for my gaming on The Brute Plays. Definitely check me out there. Got some good interviews this week for more independent comic creators. Going to be Monday, so that's going to be really good, and whatever is going on in the week. So that'll be great.
Okay, Dragon Lady.
I will be here next weekend and weekend after that, I think, because I will be in London after next Sunday and that week.
So we can happily talk Deadpool Wolverine spoilers because you won't be
here
since you were waiting to see it.
Yes.
So we are relieved of that guilt. All right. As for myself, Sunday night, I take the rest of the night off. Let's see. Tomorrow afternoon, probably mid-late afternoon, expect my review, House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 6. We'll see if more setup happens or things continue to actually maybe happen. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I enjoy it. I just don't think it's the greatest thing ever. Let's see. Then Bell Mondays, 10 p.m. Eastern, where we will nerd out over stuff and have a good time. Wednesday, we are done with Acolyte, so there's no more Acolyte reviews. I do have a poll up on my community tab. I invite you all to go check it out, where I'm asking you guys if you want me to do a new type of content streaming, because last week you guys showed up for the Acolyte autopsy, where I covered just the one thing, and we spent time talking about it. It was an open door. You never know who's going to come. Gal showed up. Samuel showed up for a little bit too, and we just had a really great discussion. You guys seem to enjoy it. You guys want me to do more of that content? That is the question. Natural 20 is, I'm not going to get rid of that show, but right now, due to basically past experiences, it doesn't seem like you guys want me giving you that type of news-based coverage content. You want me to actually talk about something, rip it apart, dissect it, autopsy it, that kind of thing. So Natural 20 is not going away. I'm just putting it on the shelf until maybe a later date. In its place, if you guys want this, a couple times a month on a Wednesday in its time slot, I will drop in an autopsy type show where I'm going to break something down and we'll talk about it. Who knows what it'll be? We'll see how it goes. But if you guys want that, please go vote on the poll right now on my community tab. I'm sure Legatus will have the link by the time I check over here again at some point. Check the conversation going on. As for everything else, we'll see what happens throughout the week. As we said, Deadpool Wolverine, that is going to be, in terms of pop culture, and probably some lingering Acolyte stuff, that's going to be news of the week. So expect my coverage on that. Friday, Ballbusters, 11 p.m. Eastern on Dermy Wormy's channel, where we will just all be insane and stupid because that's what we do there. I might be testing out a new co-op game, survival game, because we were going to play some Once Human through Horny Alf's channel, but we just learned yesterday, every time they do a new season, they'll be deleting all your progress. So F that game.
Yeah.
We were about to start playing it last night on Saturday, and then Static came in and said, yeah, they're going to delete all our progress every season. We all went uninstall instantly. In that moment, I was in the game. I said, that's it, I'm done. Uninstalled it instantly. Done.
This is why I hate modern gaming and I hate online gaming.
Well, I mean, most online games like that, it's like, oh, you get to keep your experience points and your skill tree and everything you've built and collected. Nope, resetting it all. So F you. Done with that shit, China. Nice try.
I don't blame you.
But I am looking at another one, and I'll put it up to the guys who in Alf's gaming channel. So I might buy that. It's not very expensive. I might test that out and see how it goes. They seem interested. Another co-op, a medieval fantasy setting co-op survival game with building in it. So we'll see how that goes. But Jed, what we got on driving this week?
Well, we're watching a film that I think is perfect for what we need right now. A little escapist entertainment that's just a fun action movie. This film I describe as National Treasure with a Navy SEAL as the protagonist. We will be watching 2005's Matthew McConaughey's Sahara. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that film.
Sahara.
All right.
Adam's never seen it, so this will be interesting.
But I am aware of the Clive Cussler Dirk Pitt universe. It was a thing in my household for a lot of years. And I remember the book I was trying to remember last night, Dragon, was the one that always jumps to my thoughts because I remember the cover looked really cool when I was sitting around the house.
So,
but anyway.
so not a deep NCIS reference.
No. They're Mediterranean thing. But there is a movie called Deep Six. God damn it. There's something out there. Shut up. Anyway. So we'll be doing that. We'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern this week because I failed to launch on getting my haircut this weekend. So I'm going to try and get my haircut again next weekend. And I need that extra hour to make sure I am back in time and cleaned up and ready to go because hair gets everywhere. Itchy. Anyway, then Sunday, we'll be back here, 2 p.m. Eastern, for more roundtable. We're talking Deadpool, Wolverine, and who knows what else for the internet always does provide. So once again, thank you to everybody here. Thank you to the chat. We love you. We appreciate you. Your support is everything. Without you, we don't get to do this. There's a lot of new people coming in. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Hit that like button. Everybody's links are in the description below. We will see you next time. Until then, guys. Oh, wait, shit. I forgot. Almost forgot. Thursday, Anime Odyssey, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Dermy, myself, and our guest, Legal Mindset, will be doing Gundam Unicorn. So join us there. Almost forgot. I always forget. It's only once a month. Always forget. So we'll be discussing Gundam Unicorn and a couple other topics. I'm going to let Dermy and Legal Mindset talk about, and I hate this, I'm going to let them talk about VTubers. I'm going to let them talk about it. Dermy has this weird VTuber obsession going on. He's not stopping, but Legal Mindset has actual intelligent conversation to have about VTubers because he lives on that end of the world where that stuff originated. And he has some intelligence to say. So I'm going to let them have their conversation. I'll sit back and pick my nose while they do it. Anyway, thank you one and all for being here. We appreciate everything. Check out everybody's live streams. Check out everybody. Watch those videos. Hit those like buttons, and we'll see you next time. Until then, everybody, take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.